I'm always super reactive. I will sometimes even jump into the crowd and coming up and say hi to you and sort of dance with you, sing lyrics to you, because a lot of the tracks I play have very vocal influence because I love vocals, and it's just something that then vibes with the crowd. But again, I wish we could get that into VR.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Sweet Talking Podcast with your host, Nepherti. It's great to see you again. Thank you for joining me for yet another episode where we chat with very fascinating VRChat individuals and really connect with them on a human level, where we get to know people, we talk to them, we get to the nitty-gritty, and we really get to know people on a very granular level, as we do on this podcast. Very different from, I think, others. So we're doing our best here on the Sweet Talking Podcast. But before we get started, I do want to let you all know that I do have a Patreon. If you're interested and you like what we do here on the Sweet Talking Podcast, I do have a Patreon that has just launched recently. You're more than welcome to check that out. There's even a video about that in my videos. So everything will be linked down below in the description. So be sure to check that out. And I do also want to quickly thank my top subscribers currently. I want to thank Traveling Alaskan, Apple, and Sir Nero for being my top subscribers currently. But I, of course, want to thank everyone who has been a part of the Patreon, everyone who has subscribed. I truly do thank you all for being so supportive of my content, and just want to quickly throw that out there. And yeah, appreciate you guys. So now that that is all out of the way, we have on the podcast this evening, we have AlonzoK this evening. AlonzoK is a VRChat DJ, and that is what he is mainly known for. But I think tonight we're gonna find out a little bit more about this individual. We're gonna find out a little bit more like what he's about, what makes him who he is, and just kind of dig into that. And I think we're gonna have a really fantastic conversation tonight. So I hope you'll stay for the whole episode, and thank you so much for tuning in. So, Alonzo, thanks so much for coming on the podcast. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it. Yes, I go by AlonzoK. I shortened to Alonzo, AlonzoK, whatever you guys want to call me. It doesn't make a difference to me. Just I've been known by very few. Bunch of different names, but yes, I mainly VRChat DJ as Neff said, but there's more to me than meets the eye. A lot of lore will be dropped tonight.
I believe it. Yeah, there is I think that's the most interesting thing. Like, people know, I think when you spend a lot of time in VRChat, people know you as one thing, but there's so much more, because I think many people stay on the surface. So it's very easy to kind of miss out on those like nitty-gritty stuff, because I think people are a little bit too shy, and I can understand that. I totally can. So, but we're gonna pull the sheets away a little bit, and hopefully learn a little bit more about what makes you you. So I'm looking forward to that tonight.
So am I.
Cool. So, how about we just kind of start with just basic introductions. So, like, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like who are you? What do you do? What are your likes and dislikes? And all those kind of basic.
What are my likes and dislikes?
Basic introduction.
Well, my biggest thing.
Introduction.
Basic introduction.
Yeah.
Hi, chat. Hi, everybody in the podcast world. Alonzo. VRChat DJ / audiophile / music lover / music is life. I just love music. That's what my biggest likes in the world. Video gaming, hanging out with friends. Before I was a VRChat DJ, I used to do the whole club scene, festival scene. I grew up on the east coast of Canada. I moved out west when I was early 20s, 2021. I lived out there for 13, 14, getting close to 15 years. Moved back east, and now back in Prince Edward Island, Canada. Grew up in PEI, Canada. Probably nobody in chat knows where that is. Maybe a few. I mean, I know Neff has had a few Canadians on her podcast before. Small island province in the east coast of Canada. And then I moved to Alberta, where I lived in Edmonton for about 15 years. Got heavily involved with the Edmonton music scene, the Alberta club scene, Alberta festival scene. DJ'd in Saskatoon, Seattle, British Columbia, Vancouver, Calgary. So yeah, there's a multitude of different of facets behind me in my DJ career. So Neff knows me as a VRChat DJ, but yes, before I got into this, I was a festival and club DJ, and I did have numerous club residencies out in Alberta as well too. So,
Interesting.
that's a little bit about me.
Yeah. Thank you for that introduction. Yeah, that was great. So I guess let's start with I do want to talk about VRChat, of course, but can you tell us a little bit about just kind of, I guess, kind of like your origins, like how you got started with we'll start with VRChat actually. We'll start with VRChat. We'll get into like your life a little bit later on, but we'll start with VRChat. So
okay.
how did you discover it? How did you get into it?
I was literally many people in chat know this. I'm also a furry as well too. So
I did not know that.
Discord server. What, you didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I don't assume things. I don't assume things at all about people. So
a lot of people know this about me now. We'll get into that as well too.
Yeah.
So I was on a Discord server where they were doing a meetup. I always wanted to get into VR, and it's somebody also. I'll give a shout out to Tizzy, somebody who brought me into the VR chat community. And then I was perusing Twitch. I was always on Twitch, and then I started to just stumble into the VR chat community that way. Abe VR was one of my first friends or people that I kind of got in. I actually sat in her chat 4:30 in the morning, and I sat there literally for 3 hours just chatting back and forth, and got really heavily involved in VR chat that way. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. Met tons of great friends. Went to a Just Beat party. Again, like I said, I always DJ before that, so I had just recently picked up some new DJ gear at that point because I got back into it since moving back east or whatnot. And then it just snowballed from there. Met tons of great friends. I'll give some props out to them now. Abe Ham, Blackjacks, you, Chels, Amon, Redacted, Turquoise, Thrax, just tons of great people that I can't believe they have in my life. Sith Lord Potato, tons of people that I just and I've started to connect with outside of VR chat as well too. So yeah, it's been a wild ride for the past. I've only been into VR, so I think you said you've been to it a little longer than I have, about a year now. So this August will be. Oh shoot! Sorry, I hit my. Sorry, F. My bad.
You're
Come
fine.
back. I'll turn this back. There we go. We're good. Just pick that up as well too. All right. Sorry, my bad.
No worries.
So yeah, it's been roughly about a year or so I've been in. So this August that I got into VR. So yeah, it's been a wild ride.
Yeah. So you've been into it just about as long as I have. I would say because I started in May of last year, and you started in August of last year then.
June, July. Okay, so I got really heavily into it. June, I was when I picked up my Quest. I bought it secondhand off of a guy that was in. I just wanted to get rid of. He had barely any use into it, so I ended up picking up off of him. And yeah, so. And then it went into full body, and then you know the downhill slide. Everybody probably in chat knows the downhill slide from there.
Yeah.
You just get sucked in.
Yeah,
so
you get sucked into.
Yeah,
you get sucked into more and more degeneracy. The rabbit hole never ends.
Never ends is right. Sorry, I just want to grab a drink. Some people cry. Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Yeah. But yeah. So it seems like you were introduced to like the whole idea of VR. You kind of took to it very, very quickly. It sounds like.
Yes, I mean I've always been a gamer. So it was, and I've always been a social butterfly, but I also suffer from a little bit of social anxiety as well too. And being in the club or just in the social butterfly in the IRL world, I've to the body cues and all that kind of thing. It's really easy to facilitate that and and you can gauge people's reactions a lot easier in the real world versus in VRChat, unless people are very expressive and that kind of thing. So breaking down that barrier in VRChat was a little bit difficult for me, because just I read a lot of social cues, and that's how I know I can kind of deal with my social anxiety in the real world. And then music really helped me a lot to getting into a little bit of the VRChat club scene and all that kind of stuff. And again, meeting the DJ friends and doing pop-ups and all kind of stuff too. So music was my way of connecting with people in VRChat, and then kind of breaking down those barriers and those walls for that way, versus just having the social cues and being able to see people's reactions in the IRL world kind of thing. So that's how I kind of deal with that on a weekend basis. So
yeah. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So like, instead of like doing what I do, which is typically talking, like you used music, and like music was already in your life, so it came to you very, very naturally. But how did you, I guess, like, was the transition from doing actual like music production IRL, was that and doing that into VRC, was that a difficult transition for you, or was that kind of natural for you?
Yeah, it was. It actually kind of was, because I mean, I started DJing in 2005. Not a lot of people probably out there even have access to it, or even I mean, I started on vinyl, so those big black circle things that you put on a turntable, that's when I started DJing.
Wow, you're like an OG then.
Getting into then, oh yeah, OG. So then it took me forever. I vowed for the longest time that I wouldn't go into digital DJing, and then I moved over to CDJs, which is just like actually play on CDs, and then moved over to USB sticks, but never had a computer involved with it. So I'm pretty computer savvy, but I always knew how to hook up sound equipment and do the whole music thing outside at like festivals, at club, or club nights and all that kind of stuff. So I knew how to set up that. But then to throw the computer in, it was just like a whole other monkey wrench. So like, I mean, anybody that DJs in VRC can probably test this. It's just one more kind of, I mean, you probably have technical issues too, just doing podcasting and whatnot. It's just one more monkey or one more wrench into the cog that you have to throw to kind of factor in when you're live DJing in VRC. And there's nothing. It's close to the same vibe that I get live DJing actual crowds, but it's not the same. I'm hoping that someday it may get to be the same. Like, my biggest crowd I've ever played for was probably 1,250 to 1,500 people, and just the vibe of that, just having people just going up and down, just the music you're playing, it's second to none, and it's just, you're vibing back and forth, and that's how I dealt with big crowd situations. That kind of thing was just having that vibe. But I mean, the biggest instance we all know that we can have in VRC, unless you're sheltered, you have multitude of different instances, is 80 people, maybe 90 at best, if you can push the world to that limit. So you can still connect on that level, but I'm just hoping that someday with like the computer world that we can, because I know there's a lot of people that suffer from social anxiety, that don't get to go out to clubs because they can't deal with that type of situation of having the actual people beside them. So I'm hoping that maybe VR can get to that someday, that we can have a 350 or 400 person or 500 person kind of instance and have everybody vibing and have computers to be that, and not everybody having lagging and everybody having to be in good avatars and all that kind of stuff. So that's my hope and dream for the latter part of my days of DJing, I guess, in the DJ world. So yeah, you'll be like you'll be in your 50s or 60s, put on the headset and DJing to like 1,000 people in one world, or maybe we'll just get to a point where you can have e-girl avatar.
still rocking the e-girl avatar, and like we'll like you'll have like your own personal like space. Like, it won't be like instances, it'll be like its own kind of like, you have like your own like sector in the whole framework of the virtual reality framework.
The metaverse.
Yeah, it'll be just yours, and it'll be like an outdoor like summer festival thing that people can come to, that is strictly like your overall run instance, where it can be like a ton of people. Alonzo, hey, yeah, that's good, yeah.
Your first people on this
Alonzo Palooza 2060, wait for it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it attests to that too. Like the people always go like, well, how do you break into the club scene and all that kind of? Well, I mean, when I started DJing back in Edmonton, it was almost like the rite of passage. It was like a motorcycle club. I don't know if anybody watched like Sons of Anarchy, but you or know about the Hells Angels or any of that kind of stuff. But you're the hang around, right? You've got to get your foot in the door. You've got to go out and you got to support the club nights and all that kind of stuff. And people maybe lose that kind of that, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like you said, I'm the OG, right? So that kind of punching your ticket or punching your kind of been there, done that on the checklist kind of thing. That's like, so I'm hoping that people can get out there and maybe bridge that gap too. And anybody that's looking to get into the club scene, that's how I did it way back in the day, was just to be a hang around, just to support either monetarily or like just music wise, just go to club nights, put yourself out there. Then I worked with a production company called DJing Canada. They were based out of Edmonton and Calgary. I would go out every single weekend, and White Avenue. I'm going to drop some lore of in Alberta, people that are in Calgary on 17th Ave, or just downtown Calgary as well too. If anybody's from Alberta, know Edmonton, White Avenue. It's a huge long street with tons of clubs on it. And there's big, huge, wide open parking lots. So if we had a huge rave or a huge club night coming up with a big name DJ coming in, sometimes who I'd get to open for way back, like after the fact, I would go around every single weekend and flyer cars and just literally put them in people's windshield, like in their windshield wipers. So and every single weekend, it was just a thing. I didn't get paid a single cent to do it. Didn't ask for anything financially. It was just the chance to be them, maybe put on a huge 4-room rave on their lineup as like an opener act, which then I got the chance to open for like a lot of hard house DJs back in the day, like Lisa Lashes, who became a personal friend, knew Excision before he was anybody, played Emotion Notion Festival. So yeah, I'm like, when you say OG, I've been around. I don't like to name drop, and I don't like to toot my own horn, but yeah. So, and then I kind of did that, been there, done that. So now I'm kind of hoping I can bring the digital side of that into, so bring the outside festival scene into VRC and as best as I possibly can, because I know that a lot of the creators in VRC and VRChat don't get the opportunity or haven't had that kind of exposure. So if I can maybe bring that kind of into the VRChat world is what my main goal is, kind of thing.
Yeah, like blend.
Pop-outs with
Yeah,
awesome people.
Yeah, blending the two worlds, so that they're not like separated. Because I think right now a lot of like what's going on, like if you're like Skrillex, for example, like I imagine he's just doing his stuff like IRL, and I don't think he'd even imagine doing stuff in VR or in that kind of space, but kind of like bridging the gap and bringing the two together, so there's kind of a camaraderie and like an exchange of ideas and technology. I think that could be really, really interesting. That's a really cool goal.
I do as well too. Yeah, I know Searle. I think he's done. I don't know 100% of any bigger name DJs that have done any live VR sets. I haven't heard. Like I'm brand new into, like I said, just recently got into it maybe 8-9 months ago. So like I'm still breaking down my doors in the VRChat world and still trying to build a following. I mean, I had a following in the club scene in Alberta, but where I moved back east, there is no clubs that play the music that I love to play. I play trance, I play house, I play drum and bass, play side trance. I play a multitude of everything, but my main love is house music. And Neff, you've been to a few of my sets. I just like to set a mood. I never like to be the guy that plays the hour-long sets of just club bangers. I like to play every multitude and go, like I like to play a 2-hour set, there's something. It's like the esoteric is a great word that I like to use for the opening DJ. Like it's great in VRC. That's the one thing I do miss as well too, is that like setting up a club night and a club vibe, you need to have flow in music. I don't want to walk into an instance and have 175 BPM music driving me in the face. You need to have people just kind of come in, set a vibe, bring people in off the sides after having, talking for a bit. I like to be that kind of opening act DJ, and I've always liked to do that, just because it gives you the freedom, and you have to know how to bring people in and bring them on the dance floor, and you don't want to overpower either the main headliner or the guy that's playing after you, kind of thing. So that's why if I'm playing in a pop-up, I always ask, hey, what are you playing tonight, or kind of thing like that. So that's was my always thing, is that's the biggest thing I think I see missing in VRC, is that when I go to a club instance, it's always just the same genre all night from start to finish of hour-long sets. Some slight variations, but yeah, that's what I think I'd like to see. Maybe break down some barriers in the VRC world. So.
It sounds like you put a lot of time and thought into like every set that you do, and like from what I can tell, it seems like you're doing a lot of sets pretty often in VRChat. Are you just kind of like running the gambit of like gigs these days? Because it seems like you're always pushing. You're always out there doing the things.
I'm pushing, I'm grinding, I'm doing the pop-up thing, and then it just gets the chance of being out there. But I mean, there's so many things out there, and it's so crazy just to think of and the multitude of different genres and all that stuff that's out there. I'd just like to see more of it, more of the house scene, the drum and bass scene, the dubstep scene, just to kind of all come together more, and then just throw a huge ass long 9-hour-long party and just cross a lot of time zones. Because I mean, Neff, you're in the Eastern time zone. Like a lot of the people that I hang out with in VRC are in the Pacific Standard Zone time. So you guys got to think, when I'm playing at, let's say, midnight for you, it's 4 a.m. for me.
Yeah,
I'm pushing my walker days here. I'm just kidding. I'm not that old yet, but yeah, it's so like it's. I used to do the after-hour scene, but that was like when I was in my early 20s, that kind of era. So, but yes, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I gig as much as I possibly can, but then I get asked every once in a while to play got asked by Voidless. Shout out to Voidless Ghost for his Voidless cities. You were there for that as well, Neff. So just, I'll play anywhere, anytime. Doesn't make a difference to me. I just love music. I like to expose people to good, different music, and that's what I think a lot. That's why I love the VRC scene, is because like Red's out there pushing it, Turk's out there pushing it, Stay a While, another great DJ that I've seen in the VRC scene as well, too, out there pushing it, and myself just doing pop-ups, and I like to see more of the community come together, kind of thing. So.
Gotcha. Yeah. I love that. I really love that. That's really, really great. Like one of the things that I really, really enjoy about being like knowing you and getting acquainted with Red and you know, like, and talking with Turk like here and there is like there's so many talented people. Like there's such a distinct love of music among many of the people, particularly in the Undergarden. But these days I seem to be just surrounded around people who just genuinely really love music. And I'm curious how you ended up coming across like the Undergarden and like getting to know like the people that you know now. Like obviously, like I'm kind of ancillary to that, because you know, like I don't make music, but I do like stuff like this. But like you met me because I also love music, so that's how we met essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean, I think probably the way that I met everybody in the Undergarden, I think I'll have to tip my hat to Red and Saturave. Like, it's just a great vibe every Saturday. Tip my hat again to Red, who's had me out numerous times to play. Love to play every time. Love people that, you know, come out, dance. More people dance at Saturday, please. I'm just kidding. It's a joke. But you know, everybody come out. It's a great time. But yeah, so that's probably. And then I met, I think, Chels one night at the Undergarden. Amon, who has been a great supporter as well too. Amon, love you to death. You're the best. I know who you've also had, who's also a great. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So that was my exposure to Chels, and then I honestly didn't know who Chels was until that. I knew that Chels did. I had heard of Chels through the grapevine, through Kitty LTD as well too, because I know that they're tight friends from the Void Club as well too in VRC. So yeah, then I just was joined Chels' server, and it's been a great place to hang out and meet a lot of people. Met Panda through Amon, through Chels, then I met Vulcan, and it's just been, like you said, just a lot of people that are just in love with music, and it's great to see, and I love it. So that's how I met everybody in the Undergarden.
Nice. All right, cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about just VRChat in general. So So I guess when it comes to the platform, can you name one thing that you like about the platform and one thing that you don't like about the platform, or that you wish could improve about it?
Optimize the shit out of this, please. VRChat. I don't know what camera I'm on right now, but
No,
yeah,
just you can just look at me. You can always just look at me. You don't have to worry about the
just
camera.
look at you.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Optimize the hell. That's my one plight, but I mean, it's all good. But that's probably my one biggest plight. One thing the best thing I like about VRChat is you can be yourself. You can just be who. Either you're too uncomfortable to be outside in the IRL world, gives you a chance to escape reality for a bit. That's what virtual reality is for, I guess, in one of my opinions. But yeah, that's what I like about VRChat the most. I think gives you a chance to be yourself. If you struggle with that outside.
Yeah. And something that you wish could improve, or that you don't like about the platform.
I wish we could get bigger world instances, like I said, for the music scene. Just optimize VRChat a little better than it is. Hopefully less crashes, maybe more content creators out there. I don't know. I don't really have that many complaints enough. I'm not really a person that would. Yeah. Other than that, I don't know.
So you're not a complainer? Is that what you're trying to say?
I'm not a complainer. Yeah, I'll grin and bear it, I guess. Yeah. So.
Okay, gotcha. There's definitely a joke in that statement, but I will leave that alone because we are a wholesome podcast. We are very wholesome here. So I would like to know. Let's talk a little bit about like, I guess your place in VRChat, like how I guess how you found your identity in VRChat. Like, let's talk a little bit about that. So yeah, how did you how did you come across and figure
this beautiful avatar?
I mean, I mean, like, were you always like this before VRChat? Have you always been like this type of person before VRChat, or did VRChat change you in some shape or form?
It's allowed me to be a little more open sexuality wise. Something I've always struggled with that too. Other than that, how I became me in VRChat, I'm a chameleon. I can very adapt into many different situations. I've lived many places in my life, lived in many different cities, so I can really assimilate into VRChat. And this is just literally, I'm a black and white person, and that's why my avatar looks like this. I'm not flashy in real life, pretty plain Jane, other than being covered in tattoos. Not a lot of my VRChat avatars that I ever wear, other than the stripes in this because it's a tiger avatar, have tattoos. I'm covered in tattoos in real life, so I don't see the need to. So This is just who I see myself as in VRChat, I think. And I am a furry outside of VRChat as well too. My first one is a black and white cat as well too, so that's another reason why I look like this as well too. So I guess we can dive into that too more if you want to as well too. But yeah,
absolutely.
It's me. This is my identity, I guess.
Yeah. So your personality hasn't changed at all from being exposed to VRChat. Only your sexual, your like, I guess crystallizing your sexual identity, I guess, in that case. Like, that's really the only thing that seems to have changed.
Yeah, I guess a little bit. I know it's I mean, not really changed. I mean,
better defined.
Yeah, where I live now, it's pretty reserved, and it's a pretty small town, so I don't have the ability to. There's not a lot of people that are furries, pansexual, all that kind of stuff that they're in that type of community. So that was where I kind of solidified my. Like I said, the reason why I got into VRChat was because of a Discord server that was primarily of the furry fandom community. So that was my whole identity, and now this gives me the opportunity to. Because when I lived in Alberta and Edmonton and Calgary, there was more of a of a connection to that scene. I was actually there's a local fandom convention called Furry in Edmonton that I was on the council for 5 years running, and was their music coordinator / DJ event coordinator for 4 years of the convention as well too. And which then led me to get flown down to Seattle to DJ for 2 years back to back at Rainforest, which in Seattle, which is no longer rest in peace, Rainforest. It was a very what's the word I'm looking for? Party atmosphere. So the Hilton that it was at didn't want to continue it on, and yeah, but I did get the chance to get flown down to Seattle to play. So yeah, so that's the reason why I kind of gravitated towards VRChat. I don't like to talk about this kind of openly, but yeah, I will. So yeah, I had that lifestyle and had the access to it in Alberta, and now moving back to home, my parents were getting a little in the latter part of the stage of their life, and I just kind of moved back home to be with family and whatnot. So, and then I lost that atmosphere and that access to that community, and that's what VRChat has given to me. So that access back, whether it be in the virtual world instead of unfortunately in the IRL world.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that
cheers,
makes
everybody. If anybody's
yeah, cheers. I will drink water. I'll take a drink as well. All right. So yeah, let's talk about well, there are two avenues that I would like to go. I would like to talk about your experience as a furry, which again I had no clue about. I mean, you're in a very very attractive Abby for sure, but I was completely
of my actual persona.
Oh
yeah,
wow,
so,
really?
yeah,
Okay.
We can show that later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just talk a little bit about that. So, I guess
Okay.
how did you get into it? And what I guess how has it made you who you are?
I always knew I was a furry. I mean, ever since I was probably 13 or 14 years old, and then even living in PEI where I live now, I was new. That I moved to Alberta, and then just was on back in the day of because I'm old, chat and message boards. I don't know if anybody knows message boards, but not MySpace, not that old, but pretty close. And then just got involved with the Alberta furry community, and then it just slowly turned into fursuits. Then it turned into that kind of. Then it just kind of snowballed from there. And then that was my one other passion in life. Well, 3 passions in life: being a furry, being a video gamer, being a DJ. So then I got to take 2 of my passions and slam them together, being furry and being a DJ. And then it was a match made in heaven, I guess. So and then so I've met tons of friends which I still talk to this day. I know what you've had in the podcast before as well too. That now meeting them and like Silly Mom, just tons of people in the VRC community. It's been great to get to know on that level as well too. So it's like I've found my home away from home, I guess, since I've moved back from Alberta. So yeah.
Nice.
Hope that answers your question as best as I possibly could.
Yeah. So it's been something that you have been involved with for a very long time, and
for a very, very long time. Yes.
I guess. Okay. So what was the catalyst for? Do you remember what was the catalyst for? Kind of like you said, like you always knew,
Jesus.
but you didn't come out the womb. At least I don't think that you came out the womb knowing that you were a furry.
No. I mean, no. I've always had a connection with cats and animals and kind of thing, and that was just, I guess, one thing led to another. Anthropomorphic, I guess, aficionado is what we like to call it in the normie world, so people don't kind of stereotype us because it's been always a lot of negative flack. I think you probably have seen enough of it as well too. I don't know how much.
Yeah.
I know they're gonna take you to was it Morralan? That was it 2 weekends ago?
Yeah, they were trying to kidnap me. Yeah.
Yeah. So but I could have swore I told you that night after, but maybe I was maybe a little intoxicated. Don't remember. But yes, but I could have swore I did. But maybe you just don't remember. But so yeah. But where was I going with that? Regardless. But yes. So that's It's been a journey. It's something I hid away for a very long time. Didn't really let it come to the light of day until a lot of my friends in Alberta were like, they knew, and then I just was one day, the floodgates opened, and everybody, some people judged, and that's why I kind of kept it reserved and kind of like that. So I know it's hard for a lot of people opening that door and breaking those barriers down and letting that kind of side of them out. So I don't hide anymore. So
awesome. That's good. It's very, very important for everyone to be themselves, to absolutely, be yourself, not deny yourself the opportunity to explore different aspects of who you are and what makes you you. I think everyone is different, everyone has their interests, and I think that's what makes people most fascinating, because everyone is different, and we should be so lucky as to find other people who are willing to not only accept us, but who also share in our interests and hobbies. That's really, really special. Yeah.
100% agree. Yeah.
Cool. So, if you don't mind, I would like to talk a little bit about, you mentioned that you suffer from social anxiety and that you manage it in a certain in various ways. If you don't mind, if that's okay to chat about, I would like to...
Go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to hear more about, what has that been like for you? What does that look like for you? How do you contextualize social anxiety? And how do you go about confronting it?
I've always been, I kind of consider, it was one of my old, it's hilarious that I bring the social anxiety thing up. I used to, my early days of DJing, my originally DJ name was Innocent Bystander, because I was always that innocent bystander on the outside. A lot of friends who are DJs in the Edmonton scene as well too, that are big personalities. So I found it really easy to be able to hide in the background behind them. So they were always the center of attention. I don't like being the center of attention. I suffer from people thinking that they don't like me, that kind of thing, and just that they're friends of friends of friends because of that and kind of that. So that's one of the biggest things, social anxiety. I suffer from on a weekend basis. There's weekends I've talked with this for a couple friends as well too. That I put my headset on and it's a panic attack just to see, okay, well, do I get into VR? And then it's a little bit of a daunting task on some weekends. And if anybody else suffers from out there, I know what you're dealing with and kind of stuff. It's hard, but like I said, having those friends out in Edmonton to be able to take that spotlight away was, and then also having the DJ aspect with the connection music wise, that's one way that I always bridged the gap, was just to go to, I could find solace if I was going to a club night or whatever like that, just to lose myself in the music, and then also be able to just kind of fade into the background and still be the social butterfly, but then be able to be out of the spotlight and have friends that would take the spotlight and just to be able to hide kind of that. So that's one of the things, how I conceptualize my social anxiety.
Okay, and is that why you largely prefer to be the opening act rather than the main?
Yes, that is another reason as well. I too. I like Spotlight, but I like Spotlight I like to be like, when I finish DJing, I know people love and say great set and all that kind of stuff. That I'm so self-critical myself as well too. It's another aspect of my noggin that I deal with. Super self-critical, all that kind of stuff. So I love that I've gotten from Raves when I'm DJing in VRChat. I love it, and vibing on a music level is how I handle a lot of big instances and all that kind of stuff. And I don't like to be in the main act because it's not my personality. It's not. I don't like to be the showboater. I like to be the guy who sets the mood, because I'm all about mood. That's just a mood can throw you off for the whole night. I'm probably sure you can, like, you like to set a mood on your podcast, right, Neff?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you like to be inviting, you like to bring people in, and that's just the why where I gravitate towards musically.
Nice. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that I think it's like, honestly, any content creator, anyone who's like being creative in any shape or form, they need to know like where they fit, like where their puzzle piece fits in the grand scheme of things. And lucky for you, you figured that out pretty early on. Like you know that you just feel better. Yeah, you have a lot of experience, and like you just feel like you're very much in you're the opening act. You set the tone, and then you let the other people do the thing. Like, do you ever worry?
They do.
Yeah. Do you ever worry that not shooting for being the main act will ever hold you back? I mean, obviously you've been doing this for a long time, but do you have any are there any concerns about that?
There's so many people out there that want to be the main act. There's not a lot of people out there that want to or know how to, or not saying know how to. I'm just saying that pride themselves. I probably say pride themselves. I don't want to use the right term here. I don't want to alienate anybody or make anybody feel down or bad about what style of music they play or whatnot. But it's just like there's a, like you said, finding your zone, finding your niche, and finding what you love and what you do. And that's why I don't like to either hone in on somebody else's niche. If that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do, and I like to play house music, and that's what I want to do. And I don't cross. I mean, I will play it if people ask me to play harder style music. I love hard music, but it's just not something that I vibe to when I'm DJing. I vibe to. I consider myself ass shaking, baby making music when I play house music. It's just it's a vibe. It's house is a feeling, and that's just it's my love of like, and it's just it crosses. So there's deep house, there's progressive house, there's tech house, there's funky house, there's jackin' house. There's just so many genres of house that you could just cross so many spectrums, and it gives you and allows you that freedom to be able to express yourself musically with that different type of atmosphere and vibe, and you're not pigeonholed to be the guy playing at 2 o'clock in the morning having to play a banger from start to finish. It's just not me. I don't like doing that. It's great to do that. It's great to be that person, but I vibe more by knowing that I set the right mood for people coming into the club. That's what I like to do.
Nice. Okay. Great. That was really well said. Love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I know you mentioned before that that when people come up to you after your set, they say great job, Alonzo, great job, great set. Like, as someone who deals with social anxiety, can you maybe, I don't know if that's okay with you, like, do you like it when people come up to you and tell you a great set, or would you prefer to have a different approach? Like, how does that make you feel, and how do you handle that?
I don't like I love it and I hate it. It's like I get embarrassed really easy. I can be shy. That kind of stuff. I think when I'm like, it's like a double-edged sword. You like it, but it's like then it's like, okay, you don't. I'll love anybody gives me. I would honestly rather people, if in the grand scheme of things, would be to either show love during the set more than after the set. I think would be the more way I would, right? I don't know if that's, I don't want to come off pompous or egotistical, or just the wrong way. I would just rather have people either up in front or that kind of thing, just vibe in that way. That is where I know that it's on a real level at that point. Coming after me to say that, hey, are you really just saying that because I'm a DJ kind of thing, or just saying that because that's what eats, again, the social anxiety aspect in your head. Okay, are they just saying this because you are a DJ and that you're the cool guy?
It's just the thing that you say. So people just say it,
exactly,
and you don't know if they really mean
like,
it or not.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, Chad. If anybody's out there that has come up to me and said, "Thank, great set," I take every compliment, 100%.
Yeah, I've done that to Alonzo. I've done that. So yeah, I know that you mean well. I know that you mean well. So it's totally all right. Like, I think people understand. People who know you understand.
Exactly. Yeah. So like again, I know people don't like taking compliments and sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's all depends how the set went as well too. And if I like again eating my head, like I'm very self-critical and having to learn how to DJ with a headset on, which I've only done over the past couple of months, has been I've got enough experience that I can DJ one-handed, I guess I've told Neff before as well too. So like if I roll a mix or do something and I know you guys don't know it or whatever, or somebody in the crowd doesn't know it, I'm just super self-critical and I'll beat myself up for hours upon hours after that too, and then I'll go back and I'll take those 2 tracks and I'll sit down and I'll just sit and just how could I have done this better, kind of like that. So yes, again, I love all the support. Neff, you've given me support too whenever I've finished DJing. I just, if you're at a club scene or a music instance or whatever, my thing just during the set is, I think, a little more, what's the word I'm looking for, real, I guess. It just feels more real than to be afterwards, kind of thing. It's like, are you just, so yeah, again, like I appreciate whether you're doing something and you didn't have the chance to come or just showed up and it's caught last minute, that kind of thing, whatever. That's not a big aspect, but that's again, it would be easier for me, or I would not appreciate, I would vibe with it more, vibing with you that way than afterwards. But yeah, again, give me all the love, guys. I love it. So yeah, or give me head, or just come give me head pats. Like that's another way too.
Okay, so I was gonna ask you or instead of like saying something to you, or just like good job, Alonzo, good job.
yeah, exactly. Good boy. Right. Anybody out in chat knows. Yeah.
Okay.
Total subby, by the way. Just kidding. We've already talked about it a little bit.
Well, we'll talk a little bit about that later on. I think we'll get into a little bit of that later on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Alonzo after dark.
Yes. Cool. All right. So let's get into the actual like music stuff. I mean, we talked a little bit about the musical stuff. I did want to get your take on VRChat and how that's been for you and everything like that. But let's actually get into what you do and what you have done as a DJ. So, can you
as a DJ?
Yeah, can you share? Okay. I guess let's actually work backwards, because I think people are more interested in what you do now, and obviously you have your own history behind that sort of thing. So let's actually just try to work backwards. Yeah. So when it comes to doing a DJ set, can you tell us what goes into that? And I guess you can share as much detail as you want.
What goes in? Okay, so into VRChat, what goes into it? I mean, it's having a little bit of background in streaming, video game streaming. Okay, let's start. Alonzo used to be a streamer and mixer as well too, so that's how I got into the whole OBS thing. Was how I know how to connect a stream, how same way to do it with Twitch. Then Red, who then turned me on to VRCDN, another lower latency streaming thing. That was a little bit of an easy way for me to get into the VRChat streaming kind of thing. So that was a kind of a bridging the gap there. I'm always searching for music on a daily basis. If I have an hour or two free, I'm always out there looking for hot fresh tracks or something. I did dabble in with the music production a bit, not much. It wasn't really something that I did get into, but I like just to play other people's music. I can beat match. I can play on 4 turntables and all that kind of stuff. But when it comes to structurally music wise, just notes and that kind of thing, and something that never really, I always wanted to, but it was a daunting task. Again, I suffer from ADHD as well too, so my brain goes 50 different miles in 50 different directions. So that kind of thing, going in search of music is my kind of zen moments, and preparing that way. I have a multitude and a very eclectic taste in electronic music, and like I said before, I play different genres and different types of music, and can and have. And then we'll work backwards. So that's VRChat, and where would you like me to go from there now?
So
take a drink.
Yeah, I took a drink. So let's talk about your like, what do you do to prepare for a set? I know you said that you search for music, but you do that. That's kind of like a daily thing that you do. That's kind of like a zen thing that you do in your everyday life. But like before you start a set, what do you do? And when you're in the set, how are you? Where are you? And after the set, what do you do?
Okay. Before a set, usually either probably having, I don't condone alcohol use, chat or anything, but I usually have a drink or two just to set the vibe right. The way I prepare for a set, I think any other DJs go there too, I never really prepare a set list. That's where a lot of people in VRC say they're a DJ or whatnot, but if they're just playing a playlist, that's not really DJing. But so I always pick the opening track. That's my be all end all. I'll always do that. I'll probably pick it if I'll know where I'm playing a few days in advance, or whether I'm going to do a pop-up or whatever, or I'll have that one opening track, that one gem that just kind of sets the tone for the set, and from there on out I let it fly. It's just something that you get to know being a DJ, and it's something that also that we discussed and you tapped into with the whole VRChat DJing side of it. Like, it's really hard when I can only show 20, maybe 30 avatars or people that it's so far out, because like I have a 2 PC setup when it comes to DJing in VR. So I have the ability to be on my VR headset, and then which is my gaming PC, and then I have my streaming PC, which is my music software, which is connected to my DJ controller, which then is connected into my other PC, and I have a monitor there. So a lot of people that are DJing on indexes have the ability to have all their fingers utilize all their fingers. I don't.
Yeah.
I can. Yeah. See, I don't have that in chat. Soon, maybe. I don't know. I just never. So I'm on a quest, right? So when I'm DJing, if you notice how I have to tip my headset a bit. I know muscle memory where everything is pretty much, and I have to use one hand, and just so I can't do as much as I can live DJing if I didn't have my headset on. It's why I got into just desktop DJing, but I wanted to have that vibe and being able to see you and being able to jump. Like I've done it before. I'll get on top of the turntables and I'll start fist pumping. If I'm vibing out to my set, whether it be still deep house or whether it be house or whatever, I'm very, 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 very active when I'm DJing. Like when I used to DJ at clubs and whatnot, like I would be a sweaty mess. I still am a sweaty mess when I'm DJing in VR too. Like I've finished, and probably talked to you numerous times when I'm finished too, and I'm just literally dripping sweat because I'm fist pumping. I dance. I'm a dancer at heart as well too, right? So
yeah, I've seen you.
It's funny. Yeah.
I've seen you bust a move. You're hella good.
Yeah, I mean it's something that, and I love VR dancing as well too, but I run into walls too, so just be careful.
yeah.
That's the joys of being of being a questie. So you have the ability to be wireless dancing, and I love it. I love dancing. It's been something that got me into the rave scene way back when. So yeah, that's how I prepare, and that's how I've always prepared, and how I flow a set. And that's why I kind of went in with the whole, and then switched over to having the 2 PC set up so I can see you guys and have the ability, but it's still limited to what I can show, and I don't want to lag myself. But that's how I was always connecting with the crowd. Being a DJ and doing it for that long, you can just sense where a flow of a set needs to go, and it's something that you just like. And I'm always either ass shake, like if I don't know if you may have seen me DJ in VR fully, but yeah, like I'm always super reactive. I will sometimes even jump into the crowd and coming up and say hi to you and sort of dance with you, sing lyrics to you, because a lot of the tracks I play have very vocal influence because I love vocals, and it's just something that then vibes with the crowd. But again, I wish we could get that into VR, being able to, I've had it in a couple sets. I played Boat, which I don't know if you know about Boat. We won't throw anybody under the bus, but it's a lewd rave event, I guess you want to call it. And that was probably one of the best sets I've had. Squeak and Ziggy also, who was there for that set as well. Like, it was just 80 people just bouncing, and it was awesome to see. Like, that vibe, it was one of the best 5e sets I've had in quite a while in VRC. So, but yeah, so that's how I prepare for a VRChat, and it hasn't really changed from IRL DJing to VRChat DJing. It's how I've always prepared. It's how I've always done it. Always pick first track and then just let it fly from there. Whoa, sorry, I set my controller. But yeah, just let it fly from there and just go.
Interesting. So can you explain the one hand thing? Like, why are you only able to use one hand? And I know you said it because you're on the Quest, but can you explain that in terms of like your technique? Like, is it a technique thing that you do?
Yeah, because unfortunately, if it would look kind of funny if I was to put my both controllers down, right? It wouldn't look natural. So, right. So I fake it that way, and then I can just, right, I've been doing it for so long, so it's again, I can't be as technical as I can, but again, so hopefully someday. Or the Quest 3 is coming out as well too, whether they make better controllers to be able to do that. It's unfortunately I bought the Quest and didn't have any intentions
on
to
DJing in VR.
In VRChat before, so then I was always a desktop VRC DJ up until maybe props to Thrax for pushing me over the edge for that as well too. So yeah, and not many people know that it's pretty hard to be able to grip two controllers, look like you're an actual DJ in front of two turntables in VR. So I like to be able to give the crowd the most genuine, realistic interaction I possibly can. So if I was to put I'm standing there, if I was to put you would see my arm stretched out and it just wouldn't look that natural. Then it gives me the ability to like fist pump as well too, or so I just tip my headset up and do that. So it's, again, DJing for so long, it's just becomes muscle memory, and I know there's a lot of people that are just solely VRChat DJs that know what I'm talking about, but again, I wish I had the index controllers that would be able to just let me slide them up the knuckles and have all my fingers, and would hopefully open a few more doors and let me be able to play the way I did live, and having to be able to play on 3 or 4 turntables and layering 3 or 4 tracks over top each other. And that's what I love to do, and that's why I love to play house music, because it lets me able to do that.
Yeah, that makes sense. Wow. Yeah. And like to me that just rings of a deep dedication to what you do, the craft. Like you go as far as to limit your hand usage simply to give a realistic performance when people are watching you. And that really does speak volumes about like what you do and who you are as a DJ. Can you explain to me and probably to anyone else who may be watching exactly like when I heard you say just kind of playing through a playlist doesn't make you a DJ. So how about like you kind of like give us like your personal definition of what you've come to understand a DJ to be, a disc jockey, as people may not even know what DJ means, so it means disc jockey. So can you yeah.
To me, a DJ is actually just beat matching, taking 2 tracks, and then just. But there's cut mixing. There's just multitude of different ways of DJing. People know the history of DJing. There's turntablists, like there's DMT World, and so it's like people for turntable skills. Personal friend Scratch Bassett, who's from the East Coast of Canada, is a world DMT champion. It's just literally they beat juggling back and forth. Like when I got into DJing back in 2005, it wasn't the in thing to do that everybody was doing. Not that it's saying that people get into it for the wrong reason, but it was. We were the nerds. We were those people that, like, I could tell you the amount of money I've spent DJing, Neff, doesn't even remotely even equate to the amount of money I've ever made DJing. I never ever got into it to become famous. I got into it to share my love and my deep passion for music to people that were there to share the same deep love, passion for music as me. Like that's what I consider DJing to be. Not for fame, not for fortune, not whether you that becomes because you produce a big huge track and you get that fame and that fortune. I never got into it for that, and a lot of people did back in the day. I'm not gonna point fingers or say slag anybody for that, but like when I first got into DJing, I'll give you a little bit of history. Now we started at VRChat DJing. Now let's go back to my early days of DJing.
Sounds good.
Back when I first started DJing and playing on turntables, one record would cost me $18 to $20 per record. On a good day, one record meant one track. Sometimes there was a B-side, so you could flip it over and that would be a gem of a record because you got two tracks for the price of one. So then there's white labels that only have one track on it, limited pressings. I had a LP collection of about 750 pieces of vinyl. So you do the math, that's just an average of $20 per record. I had some records that were very limited pressing that were $300 or $400 a record, that there were those gem records that very few DJs ever had or had access to unless you were willing to go to track them down. And like digging through crates, that is a lost art form as well too. Like, so we were the nerds. It was very, very, very financially expensive. I spent probably $4,000 on my first turntable. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to touch your boob there, but anybody that missed that, but what?
No one saw it.
So my turntables and mixer were about $2,000, $3,000, give or take, and then speakers and headphones, so $4,000 there just alone. So then do the math at $1,500 pieces of vinyl at $20 a record. That's a down payment on a house.
Yeah,
and now it's gotten a little more financially feasible for people like myself who got back into it because the controllers or DJ controllers or digital DJing is a little more cost effective or not as expensive. CDJs and stuff like club industry standards are still super expensive. That's about $15,000 if you're to drop it for a mixer and two CD. No, more like $11,000. We'll give or take if you want a high-end mixer and two CDJs. My controller I spent about $2,000 on. I've got a higher end one just because I wanted to be able to do a couple extra things with it. But you can get in DJ now. Like you can DJ on iPhones now. Like it's great to see. But I love to see, and as long as people are getting into it for the right reason, I have no problem with that. But so yeah, that was my progression of, and like I said, I've not even come close to making the money back that I've spent on DJing. I just do it again for the passion, and like you can sense the love of music that I have. So
I guess to summarize, to you, a DJ is someone who genuinely enjoys the flow and the art of beat matching music together and the craft of searching for
or
music.
Whatever. Yeah, that's what a DJ is to me. I mean, see, the thing is, there's different. So not every producer that produces electronic music is a DJ. Not every DJ that DJs is a producer. Like, so yes, they go hand in hand, but there's people that are club DJs that don't ever aspire or ever get into the music production side of it. And there's also solely producers who produce music that don't ever go out and live DJ, right? There is or aren't good live DJs. I can tell you a couple right off the top of my head. A world #1 DJ, Tiesto. I don't know if you any trance music fans out there.
I know
I've
Tiesto.
seen the guy play 5 times. Oh, who doesn't know Tiesto? He's the world's #1 DJ for 3 years running.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've seen him 5 times live, and every time I go in to see Tiesto live, I go in with an open mind. But if you're the world's #1 DJ, and the first 2 tracks you play, and I hear what we in the DJ world is called a train wreck, which is when you take 2 tracks and you put the word and it sounds like 2 shoes are in the dryer, like, and it's that kind of thing. If you're the world's #1 DJ, I expect you to be a little bit better than that. And then but again, I can't slag Tiesto at all because he's produced one of the best trance tracks of all times, which is Silence by Delirium with Sarah McLachlan's vocals. I think everybody knows that track. If you don't know that track, for shame, you're not a true raver. I'm just kidding. but yeah. So yeah, like again, I can't slag Tiesto because my God, he's produced some of the biggest trance anthems ever. But Then there's somebody like Paul Van Dyke, who I've also had the
opportunity.
That's the word I'm looking for. God, gosh darn it. So the opportunity or the graciousness of seeing live and meeting actually, and shares the same birthday as Mel, the day birthday, not the same year, but as me. And he's hands down my favorite DJ in the world. And I've seen him 4 times live, and every time blows me away, like just ungodly good. And he was in the top 5. So it's not always the same. Like there is a cross between it, but not always is a good producer make a good live DJ, and then a good live DJ doesn't always make a good producer, right? It's a lot of hard work and a lot of hard dedication to be able to produce a track and make it, because there's so many of us out there, right?
Yeah.
And that was living where I lived in Alberta. Again, Excision is one guy, Jeff Abel, who I played with at Emotion Ocean Festival in Alberta. One guy that made it huge in Alberta, and he's massive. One of my buddies was his old road manager for sound tech and all that kind of stuff. So it was great to see somebody in Alberta, but you got to think, you go to the UK or you go to Germany, you go to Netherlands, DJs are a dime a dozen. It's such a big,
they're all over the place in Europe.
Big industry over there. Yeah, exactly. It's so hard, and Turk's doing a great job in doing what he does with. Where it's a lot easier nowadays to get I wouldn't say a lot easier to get exposure. A lot easier to get your stuff out there versus when I got into DJing. There was no Spotify. Spotify didn't exist. YouTube was in its infancy. SoundCloud only came in probably in the tail end of me actually being a live DJ. So like that kind of thing was, and to be in Alberta in Canada, there's been maybe, I think, Dead Mouse is another well-known Canadian producer, but there versus like the contrast in the music scenes, it's really hard. It's really hard for somebody in Alberta, Canada, to get noticed. I've had friends who have made a couple of good tracks, but never got picked up that traction. So it's just it was something that I knew whether I wanted to or not. I don't think I ever could have made it happen. Not that saying it wouldn't happen, or I'm not a pessimist. I always like to be an optimist, but yeah. So that's another thing.
Gotcha. What do you think about just out of curiosity, what do you think about Armin van Buuren? Any opinions on Armin?
Nice guy, met him.
Oh really? You met him?
So
really?
Yeah. I had a blessing. I had a very blessed DJ career. I'm not DJ career, I wouldn't say I play clubs. Okay, I'm not like a superstar DJ, or don't ever think that I pretend to be. But again, being with the production group Boudin, like they were bringing some of the biggest name DJs in the world to some of the parties. It's boudin.com video. So I'll drop their name. It's Marty and Paul Klopfer. Don't ask me how to spell the last name. They're 2 brothers that ran a production company. And Armin van Buuren, they brought him to a club night, and they brought him to a couple festivals as well too, and a couple actual indoor raves. And I got to see him for the first time, I think, in 2007. And yeah, amazing. Produces some of the best music out there. I take it you're a Trance fan, Neff? Can I ask you a question?
Yes, I am a Trance fan.
You are a Trance fan. That's what got me into DJing. That's what got me into the rave scene. I first got into the rave scene through trance music. It was just, there's nothing better. Neff, have you ever been to a rave in your life? Yes.
In real life, I mean, I haven't been to an actual like when you say a rave, what does that mean? When you say a rave, what constitutes a rave? Because I've been to party atmospheres, but what would be a rave in your context? Because maybe I have, maybe I haven't.
To me, a rave to me would be something that starts at probably 9 or 10 p.m. and goes till 9 or 10 a.m. in the morning, give or take.
Oh.
And there's usually an after party that goes after that. That's a rave. So we call them. So nowadays they're called festivals. There's EDC. Never had the chance. So I went to EDC the very first one in LA. I've been to Winter Music Conference in Miami, which is now called Ultra Music Fest. I've been to Chambol I've led a storied life when it comes to partying. So that would be a rave to me.
Okay, so I haven't been to one.
So and then okay. So there's nothing better than, and I've been to the biggest rave I've ever been to was 15,000 people.
God damn.
I never played 15,000 people. I've been to a party, and so that's like a 3-room party. Usually, main room is probably they'll start off with house, and then they'll build it up to go towards trance. Then they'll either go towards like harder style towards the end. Then that's, like I said, the flow of a music kind of thing. And then they'll have another room where they'll have like people playing drum and bass, dubstep, break, so like the hip hop breakbeat style of electronic music. And then they'll probably have another room, a smaller room, will play like hardcore, happy hardcore, that kind of stuff, the higher BPM type genre of music. So like a three-room party, usually at probably a convention hall. It was there's a place in Edmonton called Shaw Conference Center, which is like a huge, they can break it up into like ballrooms kind of thing. But then they just open it up for one big huge party. So yeah, the company that I worked for, or I wouldn't say work for, because I never got paid. I just got VIP access, no line, no cover ever to any shows, just for like. So we were the promotions group, I guess, of the production side of it. We got to do the flyering and all that kind of stuff, and we would go to club nights and just be out there and just be mingling and that kind of thing. So we'd flyer for 2 or 3 hours, and then we'd go from bar to bar to bar kind of thing, and just and you know, word of mouth kind of thing, that kind of thing. So, you know, handshaking with the people and all kind of stuff. So yeah, that's what a rave to me is. So I was working promotions for them, and then that got me the ability to meet, like, at one point, there's a top 100 DJs in DJ Mag. I think I'd seen probably 95 of them on the list at one point.
Wow.
Not anymore, because it's so broad spectrum, but so
that's wild. Holy shit. Yeah, you've been around the block. You've been around the block for a damn
around the block, back again, circled, probably parallel parked, and then came back. Yeah, but yeah, I've been around.
Yeah, so, for sure.
And it's heavily made me who I am today. Like, I have no regrets of probably some of the. I could tell you some party stories. I'm not gonna incriminate myself, anybody on this podcast, but yeah, I could tell you some party stories. Neff, we'll talk about that offline. We'll talk about that in the podcast. I don't want to. Yeah. But yeah, I've done the club nights. I've done been to club parties. I've been to festivals. I've done things, and it's probably taken years off my life, but it's something, and I will never ever regret. And I've met some of the best friends, and now even meeting more great friends through the VRChat community as well too, and that have the same devotion and passion and love and appreciation for music as well too.
Yeah. Like, do you? Okay. So would you like to see, I guess, I know we talked about kind of like the blending of, like, you know, different like the IRL, we'll say IRL DJs versus like VR DJs, and kind of merging the two together. We've talked about, like, kind of like having there be some kind of a camaraderie, like exchanging, like that sort of thing. Do you like with how saturated the industry is of music production and you know, becoming a DJ and all that, especially in Europe. I imagine a lot of like the trance artists that I know of are from Europe. I've gotten to like progressive house.
Germany. I'll give you the. Yeah. So there. Yeah. So yeah, 100%. I'll agree with you. Their trance comes from Netherlands, Germany. That's where that all originated from. Then which is really funny you bring up that, because house originated in Chicago, and then it never really got any traction. It was at the Paradise Garage Music Club. Frankie Knuckles, who I had the chance to see, again, I'm not going to drop names, but yeah, so then they took house music and they took it over across the UK. So then it became acid house, and that over there. And then there's the Detroit techno scene, which is like Kevin Saunderson, Derek May, all very prolific African American in the Detroit, which is the stripped down 808, 303 baseline techno, like Richie Houghton, who's from Windsor, Ontario, which used to travel across the bridge, because I don't know if you know geography or whatnot, but Windsor, Ontario and Detroit are literally connected by the Ambassador Bridge. So he would travel to Detroit to go see, and Richie Houghton is the skinniest, he goes by Plastic Man, skinniest, whitest, nerdiest guy that you could possibly imagine, to go into like the Detroit, like, not, wouldn't say ghetto, but some pretty slummy areas to go see some techno acts, like who I've had the pleasure of seeing as well too over the course of my party career. It just shows the dedication that people have to their craft and the type of genres that they find their niche and their love for. And Richie Houghton is just massive now. If anybody has ever seen Plastic Man or ever has a chance to, go see him live. He'll blow your mind. But yeah, so like when it comes to that, there's many different aspects, like you said, of where trance and that kind of comes from. I think I may have taken you on a tangent. I don't know. You're gonna go somewhere with that question, but
yeah. I mean, it's fine. Like there's like you really do some, like you're like you're definitely like an encyclopedia of like knowledge that comes that is like you know a lot. You've done a lot of research, and it seems like you very much are very learned about where music comes from, where music originates, and things like that, which is really, really fascinating, super like interesting. I don't think a lot of people like knew just how deep and experienced and knowledgeable you are, because you do your sets.
So what you're saying is that Alonzo's old, okay?
No. Hey there, this is me, Nepherti here, and I am making a video about my Patreon that many of you may or may not know about. YouTube is still hitting me with copyright infringements. Obviously, I want to have music on my videos on YouTube, so they continue to hit me with copyright infringements. I am now affiliate on Twitch, so I do get support on Twitch now, so that has changed. But at the end of the day, Patreon still gives a larger cut. So at the end of the day, I want to just reinform you guys, many of you who may or may not know, you can take a look at my Patreon right now actually, at patreon.com/Nepherti. It'll be right at the bottom underneath my boobs. And basically it's a great way for you to support me aside from, Twitch. And that's pretty much all. Patreon is a great way for you to support me in a more direct way, and also allows me to directly give back to you guys. I do give updates relatively regularly. So if joining me on the Patreon is something that you're interested in, you can do so starting for just $1. There are tiers in which I get to spend an hour with you one-on-one. It could be either on Discord or in VRChat. Whichever one you'd want, that's what we do. And I also do voice recordings also. There's the Head Pet tier, which is $1, the Nuzzle tier, which is $5, the Huggle tier, which is $10, the Snunkle tier, which is for $20, and the Uwu tier, which is for $30. So honestly, I didn't want to spend too much time on this video. I'm just kind of here, just being comfortable, whatever, but I just wanted to thank everyone who has already been a part of the Patreon up to this point. I truly want to give you my thanks for supporting me and allowing me to do what I do and, live in this nice, cozy room, largely free of most noise, and just be able to create things that I really, really enjoy creating. And so I'm so grateful to everyone who has been a part of my Patreon up to this point, and I hope that anyone who is interested in more tangibly supporting me, this is a great way to do it. I'm looking to revamp Distortio, or DTX for short, and I'm also looking to do a little bit of other content. So I really am looking forward to the future. I'm so excited about what we're doing, and I look forward to what we can create together. See you next time.
No, it's all good. It's all
yeah.
Good. No, yeah. I mean, and I don't advertise it. I don't like to advertise it unless somebody like I'm an open book if you ask me the questions, but it's not something that because I don't like to be that person because
because it seems like an ego thing. You don't want to be like you don't want people to think they're egotistical.
Yeah, you're coming off like Mr. Know-it-all, right? So
right.
If anybody ever wants to ask me that, I'm an easy person to talk to, as Neff could probably tell you at the end of this podcast. I like to talk, it's just, you've got to, with me, it's I won't divulge unless I'm talking to you. There's probably a few people in chat maybe that are going to listen to this that know a lot about me, but that's because we've had just one-on-one conversations. Like if there's, like, again, we go back to the Undergarden as well too. If there's more than 5 people in a Discord call, I'll become like, I won't talk much. I'll interject every once in a while because I'm a pretty funny person.
That's me.
But yeah, exactly, right. So then I'll sit and stare at VCs and like see 15 people. I'm like, 15 people are my friends, but I know, like, okay, it's just too much. And again, we touch back on the social anxiety kind of aspect of it too. But then it's like, it's breaking down that wall. But I'm an open book. If you ever want to talk to me ever outside, just know it that if it's in a VRChat instance or whatnot, I'm more apt to probably walking away, but not opening up as much as I would as if we're talking a podcast like this, or just a one-on-one or one-on 2 or 3 people in a voice chat in Discord. You ask me about something like that, I'll openly divulge, but out like VRChat, it's more of a reserve kind of. I don't open up as much as I should. I'd like to, I guess, is the better comment in VRChat. So I'm dealing with enough just to be there, is what I'm getting at. Anybody out there, just for me to start rattling off, and that's unless I've had a few tip back, then I'll probably start rambling on. So there's the Alonzo at the start of the night, and then there's the Alonzo at the end of the night. It's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of thing. So yeah.
So the Alonzo that comes in, basically, it's just like, yeah, I'm happy to be here. At the end of the set, Alonzo's like, I need to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Social back.
Yeah.
It's the getting into that mental state, and then again back to the social anxiety thing, and breaking down that and just like yourself up. And that's, I don't like to say that the only reason why I get into VRChat is to drink, but it ends up being like that in a lot of ways, just because it's or just have a couple puffs of marijuana from Canada, so it's legal, just to help ease that. I suffer from ADHD as well too, so if you've noticed in this podcast, I've gone on probably about 14 different tangents now, so I thank you for reeling me back in a couple times, but yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries. I've had a number of people who deal with ADHD and typically kind of like they need to be kind of just bring you back on track, and that's totally all right. But I like the tangents though, because it gives more information that I asked for, and I think there's always something to be learned when people start to talk of their own volition when they're not prompted. I think that's when the most interesting things come out. Yeah.
Questions to
exactly,
yeah,
because
sure.
because of how I go about my conversations, which I like to have them as just free flowing conversations. But anyway, let's talk about. I still have a little bit more about DJing that I want to talk to you about. Sure. As someone who has been doing this for a long time, someone who has been essentially, based on what you've told me, you've been doing this approximately 23 years. 18 years.
18.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Started around 19, going on 20. Okay. Yeah. So 2005. 2005. Give or take.
Right.
2006. About let's round it off and make a nice easy number for everybody. Let's just say 15 years. That doesn't make me sound too old. Maybe sound too young. Let's just.
Right. Okay. That is fair. We'll say 15.
So let's just say round it off. And then when I hit my 20-year anniversary of DJing, we'll all have a party celebration. And so yeah. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say 15 years solid straight, because again, I took a couple years hiatus from the time that because when I moved way back when. So I moved across Canada once, and then I moved back across Canada the other time. So I pretty much, we all know how much. I don't know. Have you moved?
I've moved. I haven't moved a very long distance, but I've moved 3 times in 1 year.
Yeah, okay. So we all know the expenses when it comes to moving. So let's just take having to pick up everything and move 5,000 kilometers across. You take as much as you possibly can, but you leave a couple of the things that you know are probably going to be way too expensive. You might be able to replace. So it took me a couple of years from the time that I moved back home to feel like to realize that I was missing that part. And I love VRChat for missing, like I always kept music in my life, and that's one thing. I have a tattoo on the side of my arm that I just designed myself of a treble clef and a bass clef. And I have a tattoo of a record on my leg. And so music's always been something that's in my life, and I always listen to music regardless of what I'm doing, whether I'm playing video games, just sitting in front of the PC, or I'm driving or somewhere. So music has always been around, and it's my one release and my one escape from reality in the IRL world. It's what I've always used music as over the course of my DJ career or just my life in general as well too. Like even growing up, I've always been my parents, my dad and my mom are great influences. We used to take road trips, and like this is I'm dating myself now. Like when cassette tapes, chat. If anybody knows what cassette tapes are, those things that have the two circles in the middle and you put them into a cassette deck. So there was like in Canada, there was a good thing I'm going on a tangent here, but yeah. So there's a you retouch yourself, but so there's a gas station called Esso. It's pretty big. They're a division of an oil company, yada yada, of Husky Oil or whatever. So if you filled up so much gas, my parents and I used to, so I was originally born, I'm going on a tangent here. Originally born in Ottawa, lived there 6 months of my life. I don't consider myself from Ontario. Moved to PEI because my dad got transferred for work, and grew up there pretty much in Prince Edward. Like my social insurance number starts with 4, means I'm from Ontario, but I'm not from Ontario. I'm from PEI. I'm an Easterner. I say I's to buy, the bill's the boat, and I's to buy the sells and all that kind of stuff. So we used to travel every summer. Both my parents are originally and spent the latter part of the good portion of their life in Ontario. Both my mom and my dad are from there, and all my relatives live there. So we would drive from PEI to Ontario, which is about a 16-hour drive. Ottawa is where I was born. Every summer to visit cousins and relatives and aunts and uncles. And my dad would fill up an Esso, and they'd have these solid gold record tape collections. And it would be like the 60s and 70s music. So we were always listening to music. It's always been around in my life. So, and then that's just where it kind of snowballed from there. And I have a great eclectic taste in whether it be 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s country. My dad loves Hank Williams and Johnny Cash. He still listens to them to this day. And he's getting close to his, 60s or late 60s, early 70s. So yeah, so music's always been around me, and then it's just kind of it flourished from there. Right before I moved from the East Coast to Alberta, a friend who was a club kid from Vancouver moved from Vancouver to PEI and turned me on to Fatboy Slim. Anybody knows who Norman Cook is? He's a god. I'm hoping Neff knows who Fatboy Slim is.
Yeah, I do. I know the name.
Rockefeller skank.
Yeah.
So his haven't had one of the only person I've never seen live. I've seen Daft Punk live, but I've never seen Norman Cook live or Fatboy Slim. So she turned me on to him, which was his very first CD, which is Better Living Through Chemistry. And then it was just a snowball from there. I moved to Edmonton, so I moved to Calgary, went to the Warehouse After Hours Club, which isn't there anymore. God rest in peace. That was the first exposure I had to the electronic music scene in Alberta. And literally probably 10 years, not to the day, but after that fact, I had the opportunity from where it started my raving career, I guess you want to call it, or partying career at that After Hours Club. I had the opportunity, which I still have pictures of, to play that club. And that was like probably one of the, it was like, still gives me goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps just right now talking about it. Just to have like the start of your After Hours career, just getting into electronic music in general. Like, and this is probably back when Sandstorm first came out, and it was that was the type of Euro stuff that was being played at that point, and then to have it come full circle 10 years later, to be asked to come down by Chris Hastings, who is one of the resident DJs at both at DJ Gemini at the Warehouse, to be asked. He was doing a CD release, and I'm like, hey, he's like, you want to come down? I'm like, yeah. So I came down and I opened for him. And yeah, it was like surreal to have come full circle from where you started and what got you really dove headfirst into the electronic music scene. To have that opportunity was still, again, goosebumps. It was a dream come true.
Yeah, sounds like it. So how would you recommend someone who is interested in in DJing to get started? If someone wanted to either like produce music or start kind of like beat matching, in this current day and age, with all the knowledge that you have,
current day and age,
how would you suggest someone to get started?
I mean, it's hard to really equate how I started versus somebody starts these days. How I would pretty much say it was, it's just your history. Don't get into it for the right reason. Get into either, I mean, there's a lot of different equipment out there to start DJing. My biggest piece of advice to anybody out there: find your sound. Take 5 tracks, the same 5 tracks. Play number 1 to number 5, number 5 to number 1, number 1 to number 5, number 5 to number 1, back and forth until you can mix those tracks with your eyes closed, right? Because that's what one of my old roommates told me back in the day was, you have the urge, and you already have the passion for the electronic music. You want to play all these different types of styles, genres, but having that core foundation, that knowing that you can mix a track in and out. Because when I first started DJing, I took tracks that had like a 3-minute intro, which is really hard to do, which I can do now or whatever, and knowing where the cue points and knowing where to bring tracks in and bring tracks out and that kind of stuff. It's really hard to know that off the bat, but to take an easy style like 4x4 house and to be able to mix 5 tracks front to back, like it would do it for like a month maybe. It may sound boring, but take it for somebody who took it the long road. It took me probably an extra year or 2 to get out of the bedroom to actually get booked at a club or whatever, because of that fact that I was trying to do too much too soon, I guess is the way I can equate it. Live within your means. Don't overspend on equipment, because there's a lot of good equipment out there now you can get for whether you buy a DJ controller, whether you do it that way, but just also do the history. There's nothing more that drives me nuts is somebody that gets into DJing that doesn't look into the past first, know your history and know where it came from. I mean, I was lucky enough to be old and kind of go through it. DJing started way the fuck before I started DJing, but like I was around from the time that it went from underground to mainstream. Like I saw that jump, and it was our kind of, we were the nerdy people that like I said, it was like to carry. When I first started DJing, I used to carry 120 LPs, records, guys. So I have a permanent slant in my left shoulder, because I used to, like, some of the clubs would be in the basements or up the top, like second story of a building. You'd have to carry 120 records up the stairs, because there was no other way to DJ at a club other than playing on records. So like, just knowing that history, and if anybody ever wants to talk about that history, I'm more than welcome to discuss it. But just, it's nothing more that drives somebody and know what you're getting into. It's a dog eat dog world, and there's a lot of us out there, and I'm always willing to help anybody out that I can possibly, if I can give anybody any advice. But when it comes to offering advice in the club world, I have way more experience than versus VRChat world. So I again thank Turk and thank Red and thank anybody else that has given me the opportunity to jump headfirst in and offer some of my knowledge, or being the chance to play and that kind of thing. So to an old boomer, as Thrax calls me, in VRChat. So yeah.
Cool. All right.
That's my advice to the new JJs out there.
Nice. Do you have yeah, I'll go ahead and ask this. So how do you, I know I kind of asked you like what do you do to prepare for your sets, but can you walk us through like your process of like putting together like a set? Like can you walk us through that process? Like what are you doing? What equipment are you using? What's the technical portions of an Alonzo set?
Alonzo set. Well, my controller is a Pioneer DJ RZX. It's literally it would be like a club industry standard CDJ 2000 platter. I'm gonna get into some technical jargon. It's probably gonna way over your head right here now. But anybody, it's really they're into this. So my equipment is pretty much, if you were to take it and break it apart, would be 2 CDJs. I can't play on CDs. I can only play digitally. So how I prepare for a set and how I break down a set is it's all like it's really hard. It's a really hard question to ask somebody, especially. I have a roadmap in my head. Technical wise, I like to. My sets are what I pride myself in is taking tracks and layer them, and that's what I like to do. I like to be able to seamlessly blend music into music, and not, if you're in the crowd, Neff, to not even know that I went from one track to the next track. It's just that's called. But again, there's different ways of mixing as well too. So the technical side of it, I have a 2 PC setup. Again, like I said, my equipment is a little more expensive. I make a decent living, so I spend a little more money on what I have, and I like to be able to have the same feel as when I was at club DJing as well too. But as for technical wise, anybody that has a laptop, probably $1,000, and tracks nowadays are about $1.50 a piece. You know, you can get started DJing, and that's pretty much the be-all end-all of it. It's a blessing, again, and a curse when it comes to the DJ, is that it's very easy to get into. So a lot of people got into it for the wrong reason, or not. I don't know. It's hard to decipher whether people are in it for the right or wrong reason. But for what goes into a set for me is it's all about vibe. It's the vibe I want to set. It's the vibe I want to give. I'll know if I got booked who I'm playing before. I'll look at their type of genre that they're playing after me. I won't ever go harder than what I know that they're going to probably go to play. That's another thing that brings it in technical wise as well too. And then I just let it rip from there on out. It's all about setting a vibe, setting a mode, and making people want to just bring them in. That's how I lay out a set.
Okay, and what are you using to mix? Like when you say beat match, what does that mean? What does that mean? Like what is that?
My ear.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
So yeah, something that nowadays is the sync button. There's the sync button. Yeah, I use it every once in a while because I can't see. But learning to DJ on turntables, there's no beat counter nowadays. You can analyze your music, which is the software program I use is called Rekordbox. So all my stuff is analyzed through there. So you're saying beat matching. I tap my foot. So I play 4x4 heads music. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Or I shake my ass. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Got a lot of cake in this avatar, so it looks kind of nice when I'm DJing too.
Yeah.
So do that. So that's just, and it's second nature to me. And then if it's drum bass, mixing off highs, it's fine. So yeah. So where was I going with this? So that's beat matching. So I do it by ear, and it's something that you train yourself to do. And I have 2 tracks playing, one that you can hear throughout the main system, and then one I'm bringing in, and then it's lining up the beats and making sure that there's no, like I said, shoes in the dryer after that, and then knowing when to bring a track in and knowing when to bring a track in, and that's the art of DJing. So.
Okay.
It's a seamless flow through start to finish, whether you're doing it, like I said, cut mixing, blend mixing, taking. There's so many different. It's such a one thing I love about again DJing. It's such a industry and an outlet. They can offer a lot of personal freedoms. There's many different ways to do it, and there's no one way, and there's no one wrong way, one right way. But beat matching is just all mixing in your ear. It's taking a certain beats per minute, so whether it be 127, which is average house music, versus 175 versus, and just matching them up so they line up and they don't sound like there's two different beats going. Yeah, that's beat matching.
Okay. And all right, so do you like? So if you are playing, let's say, like, do you decide in advance? Are you planning to stick in a specific genre? Do you plan a specific genre of music in advance? Like, do you gather all of your songs?
I know.
Yeah. Okay. If you know what I'm trying to say, then you can answer.
I know what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Do I have a certain type of genre or subgenre that I stick with?
Well, no, actually, no. I mean, like, are you gathering all of your songs together, or are you just like, do you just kind of like remember songs while you're in the set, and you just kind of like like it's okay, I'm gonna pick that song and I'm gonna pull it from that song. You're not setting up a bunch of songs in advance.
No, I don't do a playlist. It's all off the cuff. It's all straight. I have an idea what I want to go, where my vibe wants to go. I used to be. It's hilarious that you bring this up and you say in your head. I have a very photographic memory, and I have, as you can tell as well too, I'm an encyclopedia when it comes to music as well too. And buddies that, like, when I used to go to club nights, and I can hear 4 bars of a track sometimes. Back when I was really good at it, I'm not as good as it used to be, but it was called train spotting. So my friends would used to come up to me, tap me in the shoulder and go, hey, what's the name of this track? Because I was just always in tune and always looking and always. So yeah, like, it's once I listen. So my process, again, I guess back to your question about the processing and things. So I'll go out and I'll search for music. I'll listen to a track start to finish once, and then or twice. I'll play it, just not in a set. And then it's pretty much imprinted in my brain. And I know what it sounds like, what it's going to go well with. And then also another big thing with DJing as well too is mixing in key, which is something DJs should always do. Is that there's certain keys that their tracks are produced in. You can't take a key that's G and then put it into a track that's in the key of A, because they don't line up as well as they should. So you've got to have that slow progression. You can take a track that's in C and then put it to A, and then so you have to bridge those gaps. There's filler tracks. It's a lot of. I don't know how much you want to be into this.
No,
but
no, get into it. Get into it. Like talk about as much as you need to get it across. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so it's just, and knowing, like, okay, well, and this a good DJ should know their. I've got a lot of music too, so and it's all imprinted, like, and I play tracks that are from sometimes that are you would never know, that are 10 years old, or some that are brand new. I like to mix the old and the new, just because I know that you know a lot of the older stuff. A lot of the newer people that are like in their early teens and early 20s that are getting into VRChat haven't been around, don't get the exposure. And I like to find either old tracks that are remixed into new, because I mean, it's if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So take an old track and make it a little better by a new remix and exposing people. That's another thing I love about DJing too, is just exposing people. And I'll do it to even my friends too, like on VR and just in Discord. I'll just send them, hey, I'll send a track to Squeak or whatever, or I'll send a track to Amon or to Cookie and other people that genuinely love it, or I think I've sent a couple tracks to Fifi as well too, or just say hey, or to Jax or to Abe, or just people that have genuine love of music as well too, and just say, hey, vibe out to this, and they're like, oh man, I've never heard this guy before. And it's just that kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I love exposing people to music that just go off and vibe to the same kind of music I do. So. Yeah. Music brings people together. It's a magical form of entertainment that genuinely, like, it connects people, just like food does in a lot of ways. It's really fascinating. Like, a world without music would be extremely dull. That's my fourth love, food.
But food.
Are you a foodie?
I wouldn't call myself a foodie, but I definitely love food. I wouldn't say I'm a foodie, but I love food.
Who doesn't love food?
And I can eat. I can eat. So, you know.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm well traveled, well versed, well as I could be. I also love food as well too. So.
Nice.
I've been blessed. Seen a lot of the world. Travel people. Don't stay. Touching grass is fun every once in a while. Yes, I know. Yes, it's hard to do, but we all love VRChat though.
True, we do. So I think it's time to get into your love life.
Spicy talk.
Yeah, spicy talk. Spicy talk.
The lack thereof.
Hey.
What are you doing later now?
Hey, I mean, wholesome podcast, but call me later.
DMs.
Okay. So let's kind of start with just kind of the basic question. You already kind of put it out there. You're not with anybody right now, and that's cool. I think
Nope.
I know what that's like because I've been single for a very, very long time. Literally
5 to single.
Literally decade. Literally we're talking close to a decade. I've been. Well, actually, wait, no, that's kind of exaggeration. It's kind of exaggeration, but I guess before that, I was it was nearly a decade.
5+ years. Let's say 5.
Yeah, we'll say 5+ years. 5+ years. I was single for a very long time, and I still am. But beyond the fact, I would like to know, what I guess, why do you think you're single? Let's start there.
Why do I think I'm single? Oh, you want to get into this now? All right. So I'm what you want to call as a people pleaser. I'm guilty to a fault when it comes to that. If my name wasn't Alonzo in VRC, you could probably change my name to Matt because I've been walked on so many goddamn times in relationships. Head pats. Come on, give me head pats.
Okay. It's okay.
Wholesome podcast.
Wholesome podcast. Yeah.
Wholesome podcast. So yeah, that's one of the reasons. I've had some pretty doozy relationships. There's some people out there, and maybe they're still in chat, that know about a couple of my relationships. We're not going to get into.
Yeah, you don't gotta name names. I've had shitty ones too. Sorry.
No. I'm talking. No. It's nobody out there that I've dated in VRChat. I've talked about my past relationships.
Oh yeah.
Way many moons ago. I've been single for a long time too. Enough. I'm a hot anime girl, and I'm a hot girl too. Guys, girls. But I wouldn't say so where are we going with this? Yeah, I'm single. All right, guys, and girls, I'm single and sexual. Hit me up, slide me in my DMs, AlonzoK on Discord. I'm just kidding. But no, I it takes a lot for me to connect with somebody. No, not a lot to connect with somebody. It takes a certain person. And I've been, as one would say, again, walked all over, and I'm not actively looking for love, but I'm not against it, is I guess the better way of saying it. I've got some admirers that are there in the world that won't name names. But that whatever it was to happen, I wouldn't say no, but I'm not actively looking. And I don't know if you are, and that's the reason why you've been single for so long. But yeah, I'm not dead from the waist down, but I'm not essentially alive from the waist down either. But yeah, again.
So yeah.
We can use a defibrillator and we can shock it back into life, but I'm just kidding.
That's fair. So alright, so you're definitively you've chosen to be single to a degree.
Yeah, I wouldn't say. I think it's maybe chosen me. I think I just like being single too much. I like freedom.
Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna just beat you to the punch. I am the biggest 1,000% submissive person in the world. So I'm very easily
put underfoot. I'm kidding.
Again, Sure. Neff.
You know?
No, so yeah, and yeah. So I guess that's my downfall. I'm too nice to a fault sometimes, and then it blinds me. I get blinded by love very easy, and it got me in trouble a couple times, and yeah, I had my heart broken a couple times. Never okay. So sorry. I'm just trying.
It's cool. Yeah, I get it. You know,
It's cool.
it's rough. I think everyone has had like those sorts of moments, and not everyone.
Relationships are never easy.
Relationships are never
I commend
easy.
anybody that,
Yeah. And what did you say?
especially people that can do VRC. Yeah, I can commend anybody that's been in a relationship, or that are still in a relationship, or married, or have kids. I don't ever want kids. I don't think I love kids that I can give back to their parents. That's like, don't get me wrong, I do love kids. I'm not that kind of person, but I don't want everyone kids of my own. I can barely take care of myself, Chad. No, I'm just kidding.
But you're not kidding about not wanting kids.
No, I'm 100% not kidding about not wanting kids.
Okay.
I've never wanted to. I dated a girl back in Edmonton that had 2 kids that weren't mine, and that was the one and only time that I'll ever have to done. So, yeah.
Do you think it was because they were not your kids that it was difficult, or it was because just the experience in and of itself?
Yeah, no, 100%. 100%. Just it was more my 100%. Yeah, and they were like 6 and 7 too, so that was like they were super young, so they were very aware of who I was and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that made it even doubly as hard. I don't know if anybody else ever dealt with that. I don't know if you have ever dealt with that in your life, Neff, or not, if you know what I'm talking about. But
no,
yeah,
I've never.
Anyone
who has kids, I just they're off the list. Like, I can't do it.
Oh, they're off.
Yeah.
Well, Neff, I don't have kids, so hey, just kidding.
I mean,
Hey,
you know, things can happen. You know, it's.
This is not. You're not Chuck Woolery. We're not on.
This is not a casting couch.
Love connection. Yeah, this is not love connection. No.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't bring people on.
Sweet talking nuts.
Yeah, I mean, I do some sweet talking, but like we gotta talk about the love life because this is the sweet talking podcast. We have to talk about that stuff too.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I love everybody equally. I have no judgments. All right, I love you all out there. No, music is my woman or man, I guess. When it comes down to it, I've got I've just it's a special service. If you're certain special someone out there, just hit me up. I'm in the DMs. You know who you are out there. I'm kidding.
All right. So
all right.
So what do you look for in a partner? Like, what is it that you?
What do I look for?
Like, if you were to.
They better have a damn good taste.
Okay. Go on.
Damn good taste in music.
What would constitute a good taste in music?
Well, you gotta be open. Like, better not like rhythm or Skrillex. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just joking. I kid. No, good taste in music is very open. Like, not one track minded. Very like, just I love. It's all run the gamut of my love of music. I love like people like Louis Capaldi. I love James Bay. I love sappy music. I love like rock and roll. I love classic rock. I love progressive rock. I love heavy metal. I love I have a genuine just love and passion for all types of music. It's good to my ear. If it's good to your ear, then that's something that I have to look for. Somebody that's really can sit and listen to my jibber jabbering, because again, you can notice I like to talk.
Yeah.
And there's another blonde hair, blue eyes. No, I'm just kidding. That's I'm not.
You're not picky about you're not picky about the physical qualities.
Not 100%. Like, it's probably 70-30, like being pansexual and like we talked about that. I'm more about connection to the mind and what's inside. Sure,
Same.
there is. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's same. Yeah, we all know that.
I think it makes it. I don't think there's any shame in saying that there definitely needs to be like there definitely has to be a physical attraction to some degree. Like, sure, the personality is important, but I think we'd be fooling ourselves to say that we could deal with someone who we don't find physically attractive.
Yeah, have any, yeah, 100%. Yeah, I would 100% agree with you on that.
Yeah.
But that's not.
It's not the primary. Yeah, of
me.
course. Yeah, not for me either. Same.
It's not the
Same.
primary. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I agree.
exactly. I'm blessedly good looking anyway, so I'm just kidding. So.
Hey, I mean,
100%
you didn't even have to like say that you're kidding. You could have just went along with it because nobody knows.
Yeah,
You could have just been like, yeah, you know.
There are some people out there that know what I look like. Contrary to popular belief, there are people, a couple people in our circle of friends that know what I look like. I've shown my face a few times. I'm easy on the eyes. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I keep my VRChat persona to this pretty much because this is. I would rather look at this than e-boy avatar, to be honest. But and also crossing the lines of I guess we talked about sexuality as well too. It's just I don't see myself in VR. It's not something I don't. Again, if anybody's an e-boy out there, I have nothing against them. There's nothing. It's just not me. It just never has been, never will be. I've tried. Don't get me wrong. I have one male avatar, I think, but it's one of the guys from Daft Punk was the only male avatar I ever used, so I don't really call it an emo, but just because Daft Punk are awesome. But yeah, so yeah.
Okay. So can you explain? I mean, you said like you're not into like the e-boy type of look or the e-girl type of look, but like, so can you explain what you look like? Because you know, you got the booba, you got the you're a tiger.
Trust me. Yeah, you want to see the cake later? We can show that
Okay.
later.
Oh, no, I believe you. I believe you on the cake. I believe you on the cake. But like, so like you have the booba, but you identify as like you're a dude. Essentially, it's just like yeah. I'm a guy. Blah blah blah.
I'm a guy. Yeah.
But you're cool with the booba, like.
Of course.
Okay.
But who would not want to? How much you get to rock boobas on a daily basis? I get to rock boobas in VRChat. You get to know it, like right? I mean, just everybody's always been curious.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Would you? I just like this is something more that I'm in tune with. Again, we've talked about the furry side of it. My first one is a black and white cat as well too. Hence why this is black and white. So this is what I jive to as in VR, I guess, right?
Yeah. So, okay.
Yeah.
That is fair. So, so if someone wanted,
this avatar gets me a lot of attention too. So.
Oh well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it is a very attention grabbing Avi. It is. It's not too flashy, but it's just enough.
It's just flashy enough in the right areas. Yeah, I know.
It's just enough. Yeah. So can you tell me, like, if someone, hypothetically speaking, wanted to, like, if someone, like, has been shy to talk to you, how would you reassure someone that it's okay for them to talk to you? Yeah, like what advice would you give to someone who has been maybe shy to talk to you, and how would you say that they should approach you?
Well, I'm hoping this podcast maybe helps a bit if you're shy to talk to me. I'm pretty, like I said, pretty open person. Just come up and talk to me. We'll bring it back to a couple things that I'm really interested in. Music, video games, food. We already talked about that as well too. Have a little bit of a knowledge of. I like to research my people that I like to talk to. I mean, I knew a little bit about Neff before I actually had because I think we met that one time at Chelsea's Thursday, I think, and I
think
knew
so.
who you were, and you talked to me as you said, hey, thank you for following me. I'm like, yeah. I don't like to do the online following because just especially with people that I know that they're in this circle kind of thing, because hard I like to be inconspicuous a lot of that kind of stuff. So, but no, just have a little bit of a knowledge of who I am, and music is the best starting block with me. If you can jive with me on a musical basis, that's probably walls. The domino effect will start from there. We'll just kind of go, and also video games as well too. I'm a huge Destiny fan. Shout out to Vulcan out there as well too. He plays Destiny as well too. So that's another thing that has molded a lot of my online gaming kind of life. Call of Duty as well too. Very avid Call of Duty player, not as good as Chels or Amon or Hori and all those people from the Undergarden, but I hold my own every once in a while. I can get a couple kills, and Canada likes to carry me as well too. But yeah, so that kind of thing. If you have a little bit of a connection, that's another thing. Honestly, I'm super approachable. I'm not one that's ever gonna. I'm very rarely in a bad mood as well too. And if I'm in a bad mood, I shut myself off. So yeah, I won't be around. I don't like being around people if I'm in a bad mood. I won't subject themselves to that.
I feel the same way. Yeah, I'm very, very in tune with my emotions, and when I know that I'm not in a good place, I generally just disconnect socially, and I'm very, very good by myself anyway. So I'm typically already living the hermit life anyway. So I will not put myself around people if I'm just not ready.
As well too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. I do stuff like this, but like people get it twisted. Like they think because I do this that I'm extroverted. No, I've trained myself to be extroverted. So I can have conversations and connect with people.
As well too.
Yeah. But I'm 100%. I like my quiet time by myself, 100%.
And that brings it back to probably the reason why we've been single for so long, is I like my alone time too. And that's a big thing as well too. When people get into a relationship, it's really hard to find that you want to be around the person so much, but then it's like, okay, well, there's people that, you want that physical connection and that time together, but then it's like, okay, well, we all need our private time, and I thrive around that as well too. But I like the fact of the online aspect is that we still have that connection, but it's not a physical connection, but it's still communication connection, that kind of thing. So that does help with the with social anxiety. But yes, I'm content to sit in front of my turntables or in front of music just by myself and just get lost, and I'm super comfortable with that. And
yeah.
But again, then music breaks down the borders of that's how I also deal with being in a social atmosphere. People think that you doing the podcast that you're a social person. Me being a DJ, you're out in the DJ aspect, but no, I suffer from this, again, social anxiety, and I'm a very big introvert. But I have my moments where I can be out in an atmosphere and can jive with it, and you're in tune with it as well too. Because I've seen you in big races as well too, and you see me too.
Yeah.
Again, I hang out with a lot of big personalities, and you hang out with a lot of big personalities too in the VRChat world. And when I'm drunk, I'm that big personality, but other than that, it's not something I turn on very often.
Yeah. Definitely, alcohol definitely kind of makes it easier to turn on that social.
Liquid courage, as they say.
Yeah, liquid courage. It definitely turns on that social battery. It kind of recharges it for a moment, and then after it kind of wears off, I immediately just go back and I'm just go back, just running away.
Go.
Yeah. It's a lot of times I'm in VRChat, it is to kind of just chill and vibe. Maybe I'll hang out with a person, and then I'll just kind of go off to be by myself and just vibe and chill, sleep even. So I can't sleep in VR. Really?
How do you do it? Anybody out there? I'm gonna turn the tables here for a second.
Okay.
I can't sleep in VR. I'm a stomach sleeper. I can't do it. I have to be probably super drunk to be able to fall asleep my back, or it just doesn't happen. I can't. I'm a stomach sleeper. So to have your face down and on a headset, it's not comfortable.
No.
Are you? How do you? No. Yeah. See, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Kudos to anybody who can do it. I can cuddle like a motherfucker in DJ. Sorry, not DJ like a motherfucker in VRChat, but I can't sleep. Can't do it. I can get cozy. I can watch a movie. Anybody out there, send the DMs if you want to cuddle. I'm a great cuddler. Great big spoon. Just joking. But yeah. So. Or am I? But no. So yeah, I don't know how people could do it. I can relax and that kind of stuff in VR, but I can't sleep.
I mean, I do it. I've kind of made it like a part of like what I do on a weekly basis. Like I usually sleep in VR at least once a week, and I just kind of do it. Like it's probably more, but on average it's like once or twice a week. Because for me it's I'm hoping to trick my mind into feeling more connected into the VR space, that my brain will kind of resync or just be able to sink into being in the VR space to a point where I can establish phantom sense. It's kind of a silly idea, but it's like the only way that I'm able to have more time in VRChat because I'm always so busy. Like I do all of my own shit. Like everything that I do on my own. So like I don't get much time to just be in the VRChat, and when I can, I typically just want to be by myself. So sleeping is kind of like the best that I can kind of do. But yeah, I just kind of I sleep on my side or on my back.
Backwards, yeah. Now, waking up in VR, is that so? You're in the phantom sense. You know, I don't have much of any phantom sense. I know
that was my next question. So good.
Yeah, I don't. I'm more of a mental connector when it comes to that. Like, I can tell you right now, it's like within 5 minutes. It's hard. It's a little harder than in VR. Don't get me wrong, because it's the social cues and whatnot. But I can tell you within 5 minutes if I want to have anything to do with you or not. I can tell you in IRL.
Oh yeah,
now,
same here.
Sometimes do it in VR. Just it's getting better. I don't have much of any fans, hence why when you tap my head that I purr, so I know that you're doing it. Also as well too, but no, I can't a little bit. I love head pass to the end. That's my one kryptonite. I have a smidge of phantom sense, not much. But yes, are you trying to train yourself? Are you getting more phantom sense? Is it working for you? Can I ask you that question?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, for me, like I don't think I've gotten to the point where I'm getting it, but I will say that there has been moments, like kind of just singular moments where I've experienced it. Again, it's not like a common thing. I can't turn on or off type of thing, but yeah, it's very much something that I've kind of felt here and there. It's like I have to like truly like, and like it's the idea of truly being present, and the idea of fully being present is so difficult. Yeah, it's difficult for someone like me who like the brain is like, I've experienced so much things in real life, so like yeah, it's
I agree
difficult.
with you too, to trick your brain when you've had that much life. And again, I think that's maybe another reason for me as well too. I've had a lot of good life experiences as well too.
Yeah.
I can connect with somebody in phantom sense one-on-one in VR, but if it's in a bigger instance, if you were to come up to me and do a head pat, I probably wouldn't. That would have to be trained and taught. I don't think I've ever had it in a big instance. One-on-one, or maybe like 3 or 4 people watching a movie or LS media or something like that. Yeah, I can say I have, but yeah, I haven't really truly. I wish I have. I wish I could. Because
I wish I had
it would
too.
make VR that much
more immersive.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Absolutely,
yes.
absolutely.
I'm a big fan of the hand ASMR as well too. That I've had a little bit of phantom sense with as well too. People, so yeah.
Cool.
But yes, my phantom sense not very good at all. More of a mental sense, I guess you want to say, versus phantom sense. Yeah. So.
Gotcha.
Just stand there. I'll read your mind. I was kidding.
Yeah, I mean, if you mean like kind of in the sense that like you can like after interacting with someone for a certain amount of time, you can basically determine whether they are worth your time or not, type of thing. Whether you're going to connect with them or not.
100%.
Yeah, I'm very good at that.
Yep.
Yeah. 100%.
I was burned very, very early in my life, and I vowed never to be burned ever again, and I trained myself. So if anybody ever wants to learn how to train themselves and do that, just get really burned by some jerk when you're like 17, 18, and he'll train you to never ever be burned ever again, and know whether you should trust people. Coming from the east coast of Canada, I don't know. Have you been to Canada before, Neff?
I've been to Canada once. I've been to Canada once. I went to Montreal
once
during high school.
Montreal, awesome city. Yeah, awesome city. I speak French as well too. Je parle français très bien. Je suis complètement bilingue. I said yes. I speak French really well, and I'm 100% bilingual.
Oh, nice.
I speak Spanish as well too. I spent 3 years of my course of my 15 in Edmonton. I'll equate that into the 15 years. I lived 2.5 years in Mexico. So French being a derivative language of they have the same derivative language as Spanish. It's very easy. So yo hablo poquito español. So I can get by in conversations with Spanish. And then I speak Easterner as well too. So I speak 4 languages, I guess. So Canadian, English, Easterner, Spanish, and French. But no, I took immersion in growing up. So every subject in school from grade 1 to grade 9 was in French except for English.
Oh wow. Yeah, that'll do it. That'll 100% do it. Yeah, I cannot say that I'm fluent in multiple languages, but I can say that at the very least I'm loosely familiar with Spanish, and I'm more connected to Japanese than anything else. So that's my.
Are you okay?
Yeah. I studied for 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, so I a couple of my early off rave friends in Edmonton, our party friends, a couple of them are Cantonese. So Chinese, but yes, Cantonese is a language that shouldn't.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The wrong thing to say. But yeah. So Chinese, but yes, they spoke Cantonese and Mandarin. So I can swear and I can get by and can order a dim sum in Cantonese. So I got that aspect there. That's my only Orient kind of Asian exposure. Kind of.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I love anime. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. so yeah. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. Love anime.
Yeah. All right, that makes sense. Like
I didn't know that about you though.
Yeah, there was a point where I was.
Yeah,
the Japanese has been something that I did learn. I was taking it very, very seriously throughout my college time. I lived in Japan for a couple of months too. I studied abroad, so I don't get to use it very often. It's very, very it's not very strong, but I can tap into it here and there.
It's not you can tap into it.
Yeah.
And I'm very well traveled when it comes to North America, South America, but I've never been I've been every province and territory in Canada. I've been a good latter part of the eastern seaboard of the states, the western seaboard of the states, and then a little bit in central. I also did long haul truck driving for 2 years. So I've driven in a tractor trailer, semi-trailer from east coast of Canada to Wisconsin and back west-wise, and as far south as Tampa Bay and back up in the States. So all through, I've driven to New York, New Jersey, South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, all that area. So I've driven that as well too. I've driven straight across through Michigan, Indiana, all the way to Wisconsin.
Wow.
And then I've been to San Francisco, and so I'm very well traveled. I've been to South America, I've been to Rio de Janeiro, and I've been to Central America, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Belize, and I lived in Mexico for 2.5 years. So I did a couple, I did a Mayan ruin trek for 7 days. I took a bus by myself. So again, back to the whole introvert thing. I'm a very big chameleon. I literally knew nobody when I moved to Mexico, except for one person that I worked with. So I can't tell you what I was doing in Mexico because I'd have to kill you.
Okay.
I'm joking.
Okay. It's Mexico, so I'd actually be inclined to believe you.
I was an ex-coworker friend who was working in the same office building as I was in Edmonton, retired to Mexico, took me down there to work for a Canadian company under the table, making straight commission, 25 cents on the dollar for everything I collected, So when I was living in Mexico, the peso was 14 pesos to $1 Canadian. So I lived on the beach in Mexico in a 2-bedroom, 3-story, 1.5 bath. No, sorry, 2-bedroom, 2 full bath with a rooftop patio. Literally walked out my front door, turn the corner, and turn the one more corner, and you're in the Gulf of Mexico for 6 months for $600 a month.
God damn.
Lived on the beach by myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, so it was a good time. I've got pictures on my that I'll share in some Discords. So you can literally get on the rooftop of my
So what?
And then I did a 6-day or 7-day.
Well, I was gonna ask what brought you back? Like obviously it was just a job. It was like a short-lived gig, basically.
Yeah, 2.5 years is really short-lived when you think about it in the grand scheme. It's 6 months to be short-lived, but yes. It was the gentleman who brought me down there he retired down there. So I had one friend who was a Cuban American who was the same age as I was. He was a hairdresser, hairstylist that lived in Florida, 100% fluently in Spanish. Big time partier. His name is Eddie Romero. Shout out if you're listening out there. I don't talk to him anymore. I haven't lost touch. But if you're out there and you hear this, shout out to you. Miss you, buddy. He took me under his wing. We partied a lot. I've seen some things that we'll talk about on this podcast. That's a whole different thing. If you ever watch the show Narcos, that will tell you. I've seen some things. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
So I lived in Merida, which was like a population of 1.5 million people. They had a Costco, they had a Sam's Club, they had a Burger King, they had a McDonald's. It was very Americanized. But if you traveled 1 kilometer or 2 kilometers outside, you're in very poor, like palapa style houses in Mexico. So I was brought down there, and I had nobody in my real age group except for Eddie. Everybody else were expats down there. So Progreso was the closest port city, which is close to Merida, which is right in the Gulf of Mexico. So there's a Malecon there, which is like the boardwalk, and all the expats would go there, and there was boat days. So there was a cruise. It was a port town, so there was boat. And so there were 65-year-old men sitting there watching girls get off the boat and up and down the Malecon, and sitting there whistling at them, and it just wasn't my lifestyle. It was great to have one friend that was in his 30s, but or same age as I was at that point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got homesick. I did have the opportunity to DJ in Mexico twice, which is crazy. I saw Avicii in Mexico as well too. Crazy as hell. Saw Paul Van Dyke in Mexico. So yeah, I got a little bit of a taste of that aspect, but again, I got homesick really fast, and I had a really good group of friends in Edmonton that I missed a lot, and I just had to move back. That was the reason why I came home.
Gotcha.
Back to Canada.
Interesting. So you've seen. It sounds like you've seen basically all that Canada has to offer. Like. And you said you're from Alberta.
No. I lived in Alberta from PEI, Prince Edward Island.
Okay.
It's okay. So let's educate some Americans that might listen to this podcast. Prince Edward Island is the smallest province of Canada. It's a very small eastern province that's in the Gulf. Sorry, not the Gulf. It's in the Northumberland Strait. I was about to say Gulf of Northumberland. It's Northumberland Strait. It's an island that when the polar ice caps, we had an ice age. Remember way back when, 20 million years ago, or whatever year it was. So when the world was covered with ice, and the ice caps melted, all the soil that was brought down with those ice caps that kind of turned into the oceans or whatnot, it took sedimentary soil and it all built up. So the island I live on is slowly eroding away. We produce some of the best, actually probably hands down the best potatoes in the world. What we're known for, PEI potatoes. Idaho ain't got shit on our potatoes, by the way. We make Yukon Golds. Yeah, and our soil is red. It's not like a traditional black soil that you would see. It's sedimentary soil. So there's no bedrock on PEI whatsoever. It's like literally you could pick up the rock in your hand and you can break it apart. And that's like to the coast. The last thing of being in PEI, I'm never more than 20 minutes away from the beach. I can literally walk out my front door right now, walk 100 feet down the road, and there's a beach. I'm right. So I've got my backyard. I can see this Charlottetown Harbor, which we get a lot of cruise ships in PEI as well too. See, I grew up in PEI. I'm a spud. That's what most anybody from Canada knows us as. Our two biggest things are PEI and potatoes. And do you know what Anna Green Gables is? No, probably no. Anna Green Gables?
Anna Green Gables, no.
Okay, so Anna Green Gables is Lucy Bob Montgomery is a book that was made into so every year in the Charlottetown Festival, there's a musical called Anna Green Gables. It's very well known. It's very big, and it's funny because you say you're into the whole Asian culture, Japanese. It's very well known in Asian culture. And PEIs, we have 3 industries. Snow, we get lots of stuff. I'm just kidding. It's not an industry, we have 2 industries. We have agriculture and tourism. So where I live, 6 months of the year or 7 months of the year is a barren wasteland of snow and cold weather. And then the other 3 months of the year, it's the summer God's country paradise. So, and it's very humid, and I live on an island. So I live in an island.
Oh,
so yeah, that's why. Then I moved from PEI to Alberta, and then I moved back from Alberta back to PEI. So literally how well do you know geography? So Alberta, where Abe Ham is from, is BC, which is the next province over, which is then is Pacific Ocean. So yeah, it's pretty much west. It's close to West Coast.
Gotcha.
From one side of the country to the other.
Okay.
I originally moved out there to work the oil fields, so that's why I got a chance to be in Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Alberta, and BC, and Yukon and Northwest Territories a lot. So that's working, looking for oil.
Interesting.
So I moved out there to do the first.
Wow. Yeah, you definitely are very well traveled. Holy shit. And it's very, very super impressive. Like I genuinely am interested. Like it's so interesting to like hear people who have traveled for such long distances and have seen so many different places. Like I've seen a fair bit of the United States, and obviously I did live in Japan for 4 months, but like that's like I haven't seen very much of the world. So I think it's super like I think people who've been exposed to a good portion of like the world or have seen like different cultures in action, that alone is just like I think that really makes people very fascinating, very open-minded, very creative. And obviously it allows for opportunities to become like multilingual, which you are, and I think that's super cool. I think that's really, really awesome. So we're gonna go through like a couple of like last minute kind of like IRL related questions. Like we've already kind of gotten into it, which is great. This is where I wanted to go. So we'll kind of go in that. I've spoken to Abe a couple of times. Obviously I've spoken to you. Like, are you like? I mean, like I've seen you hang out with Abe. So just a fun question. This is a fun question. Like,
we share the same brain cell sometimes, Def.
Okay.
Abe and I share the same.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah. So it really is like you two are just good buddies. Essentially.
Yes, very good friends. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Did you?
We're Canadians. It's an unwritten bond. So same way that Thrax and I are good friends. Same way that like it's an unspoken bond. It's weird. But go ahead with your question. Sorry. But yeah,
no. That's kind of where I wanted to go. That's kind of where I wanted to go with it. Yeah. So like, yeah, like I'm like what's going on?
Well, Abe loves me to death. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's an unspoken bond that Canadians have. It's really weird. It's like we're a certain breed, and it's hard. It's really hard to explain. Whether you be from one side of the country or the other, Canadians will always give you the shirt off your back. That is one thing we're known for. We always say A. We always say sorry. We're genuinely just nice people, and it's I don't know, Abe. It's weird. The first time I ever met Abe, I think it was probably August of last year. Abe's been probably one of the. I tell Abe how much I love him all the time. He's been my one real super good friend that I talk to on a regular basis, and we message back and forth. But he came up to me one night. It was my real first ever instance of party. We're at a Just Be Club. Jax is there. Shad was there. I don't know if you Shad the Viking or like just some heavy hitters in the social and in the social club aspect of VR, that kind of scene, which took me a while because I knew nobody. Dunny was there. Thrax was there. So it was a pretty big thing. And then Abe, I had never met Abe, never seen him in chat anywhere, and he just walked up and he's like, "Hey, that Alonzo guy, aren't you? You're from Canada." And then ever since then, Abe and I have been good friends. It's just weird. Yeah.
I mean, like it's not terribly weird to me because I've had a similar interaction with someone, not in VRChat but in real life. Like I had heard about a friend of mine told me about someone who gone to my school. This is back in high school, but they told me about someone who went to my school, and I'm like, oh yeah, they sound really, really interesting. So I literally I had no intention of meeting up with them. I found them. We were in study hall one day. I walked up to him. I actually went to the office to see what he looked like. I looked him up in the system because I was a really good kid. I was a really good kid in high school, so they let me do all the things. Yeah. So I'm like, found out what he looked like, ran into him in study hall randomly, and I'm like, "Are you that person? Like, are you the I know this person." Like I told hey, yo, I know this person. I keep hitting myself in the face, but it's fine. But yeah, basically from then on, we've been best friends for years, over a decade now. So it's really interesting how you can just connect with a person in a way that you don't expect. And it's I think those are some of the best
there's
kind of.
There's somebody else too I connect.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, there's somebody else I connect with too, but they're outside, and I'm not going to throw them on the bus because they might be listening. But there's somebody else, and then That's my, and then Abe is another person actually with that side, but Abe is my go-to popping off person that I hang out with probably the most in VRChat, and then also outside. But there's also another person that I connect with, that Tiki, admirer, I guess you want to call as well. I'm not going to name names, but that's another person that also VRChat. You know them as well too. I'm not going to throw names in the bus.
Okay,
but,
that's fair.
There's a couple people out there that I hang out with on a regular as well too, and that kind of thing too. And it's been, those connections are, it's like you said, it's really weird how it's just like that unspoken bond. Like I can go a week without talking to the one person, and then also you brought Abe up as well too. I can go a week without talking to Abe. And it's just like you never miss a beat, right? It's just, and it's those friends that you find that you can just, it'd be like you just talked to the person yesterday right now. But
it's been like a couple of weeks.
3 weeks, it could be a month.
And you just pick up where you left off, and it's fine. It's chill. Yeah. That's how.
It's chill.
I wish all friendships were like that. I wish all friendships were like that.
People were so goddamn needy.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it's true. There are some people who just they gotta have that attention. Like the moment like they don't get talked to, they think that there's something wrong. They think that they did something wrong, and they get pissed or they get sad. And like it's a common thing. But I wish more people would just be like would just trust that there is a bond there. There's a connection there. And like that, they matter enough, and like it's impossible for everyone to talk to everyone every day, So
100% agree. There's somebody that talk to it. There is. I mean, it's a quick message here and there, but just voice connection is hard to do as well too. Either just hanging out, that kind of thing. We all have our lives and so that, but just like there's a couple of friends I truly cherish that I've met in VRC, and
same.
I'm hoping that I can make more connections like that too. And it's been, like I said, we talked about this at the beginning. It's like it's finally a place, I know it's like this for a lot of people too, where you can feel it, you can be yourself. There's no judgments. You don't have to. You can only share as much as you want to, or you feel that you have the ability to with VRChat. And I mean, like I said, I can just hit mute and all of a sudden not have to deal with you again, to just shut you off. Like, so that it offers that for people that suffer social anxiety, that kind of avenue and that outlet to be able to do that. And then it does, like, I think VRChat does probably help a lot of people with social anxiety too, because you get that type of connection or type of atmosphere, but you have the ability to just pull the plug and then just, you don't have to physically be there with somebody or feel like somebody just saw you walk out of a room and then have to deal with that embarrassment. That's not fun to deal with anyway. If you're feeling socially awkward in an IRL situation, to have to completely leave that situation is not easy, right? So
I agree. Yeah. It's definitely that. I've talked about this on a number of other guests. Like, it's very, very apparent that VRChat has certainly helped people overcome a lot of, personal, emotional, psychological limitations that they have, and it's really just opened up the door for people to be able to have interactions that they probably wouldn't normally be able to have or feel comfortable having. And that's really kind of what I wanted to highlight. That's why we do this. That's why I have these conversations, because I want people to know that, like, at the end of the day, we're all just people, and we may see each other, and there are people that I've met over the years, especially people who I've had on the podcast. I most definitely I would love to keep in touch and talk with them. But like, I'm hoping that the connection that we've built and the conversations that we've had, and that me showing other people, and like you being here with me, and this, being up on YouTube and everything, I'm hoping that, as more people maybe hear about this podcast, they'll understand and feel that, it's really just about connecting with people.
There's a lot of us out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of
100%,
really great people out there. And, there may be something that you may be missing out, because you may just want to keep things on the surface level. But, like, you never know. You never know what kind of fascinating people you may meet.
Exactly, 100%. And like, there's been a couple people that with me too. Like, I never thought that I would have that connection, and I've had the blessing of knowing this person who they don't really socially, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know what I'm like, socially interact as much as they do with me outside of VRChat, and to find that person and to not even realize that was a thing, and then just to talk on a regular basis. And I love finding those type of connections. And if that happens with you and I, Neff, because if we know what we've talked about, if it helps anybody out there to approach me and I can make a couple more of those connections, by all means, I just, those type of friends, they're jewels in the rough, or times in the rough kind of thing. And everybody needs to have a couple people like that in their life, and it breaks down borders. And if anybody out there that is looking for connection like that, and they have issues socially, and the thing is, sure, people knock deskies or whatever, and or desktop users, but it's something to think about. Just get into VRChat on the desktop side of it too, and then just not everybody can afford full body, not everybody can afford a headset, or it's getting to the price point that it's more feasible now, but it's not something for everybody. But just, there's many people I think we've had on the podcast are desktop people as well too. They're just as interesting that are in the Undergarden community. I think Moogly's one of them, is pretty sure he's a full-time deskie.
Yeah.
Some of you in the podcast, just people that you don't give them that chance because they're a desktop user, but you never know, sooner or later down the road, they might become a Questie, or an Indexy, or a Quest Pro, or whatnot, right? Because just don't ever not be open to that person just because they're a desktop. Don't ever judge, because not everybody has the money to do it, right? So
yeah, I 100% agree.
Yeah,
100%. And I actually think that's a pretty great note to leave off on. I think that's a pretty solid.
Told you we wouldn't have problems to fill in 3 hours.
No, I wasn't worried. I wasn't worried about it at all. I mean, there was a point.
Thank you for having me though, Neff.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's been great to have you.
I'll say in closing as well too, Neff, you're amazing host at this. Do an amazing job. You've had some people on here that I've loved to get to know, hoping that I've shed some light on me, if anybody's still out there listening, and all that kind of hope there are, and hoping making. I'll point everybody to this in the YouTube. If it helped anybody in any way get into DJing, feel any okay about social anxiety, thank you for having me on. And I dealt with, for the past 2 weeks, there's a couple people out there who might still be listening that I messaged, and I was just getting so nervous, but you made it so comfortable, Neff, and thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm always relieved when people tell me at the end of the podcast, "Hey, that wasn't so bad," because honestly, I say this to everybody, I have the hardest part. All you have to do is sit there and look cute. That's it. I have to guide the conversation.
I do a good job already, so.
Yeah, just sit there, look cute, answer what I throw at you. I have to think of all the things off the cuff, and just kind of have it feel natural and flow. And I'm always really grateful to hear when people are comfortable, that they had fun, and that it really hopefully it made a difference. And at the end of the day, I want all of my guests, not just you, but I'd like all of my guests to know that I genuinely enjoy these conversations. I think they're worthwhile. I think that they're hopefully going to help people and show people who aren't familiar with VRChat that there are really, really wonderful, awesome people on this platform, and that VRChat can be a great place to find wonderful people, have new experiences, do things that they never thought were possible. Find yourself, yeah, of course, yeah. And for a lot of people, there's definitely that element of just finding people that you fit with, that can help you feel more comfortable and help you discover things that maybe have been locked away in your mind. I wonder if VRChat existed 10 years ago, I wonder if my journey would have been a lot easier. But and who's to say? But I think for a lot of people, it can be super, super helpful, and that's why I love doing these podcasts. And again, I would like all of my guests to know that you all are valuable, and I'm so honored and grateful to you, Alonzo, and everyone who continues to support the podcast, to give me a chance. And hopefully,
That's a long sock to you, by the way.
A long sock. but yeah, just
have. I coined that as well too.
Yeah. But yeah, it really means a lot to me.
You end off. You end off. Thank you for having me again, Neff. Thank you, chat. Hope anybody that got to know me that didn't know me any better and that kind of stuff. So anybody wants to come talk to it anytime, hit me up. Slide my DMs. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, I'm super grateful to you, Alonzo, and obviously very grateful to like, everyone who's been on the podcast in the past. I don't get to say this very often, but I know that we may not get a chance to talk afterwards, but it really, like, I certainly hope that, you know, if we meet each other or we come across each other, that there's always going to be love there, and that like what I do and what we create together is definitely, I think, worthwhile. So very, very grateful to you guys, very grateful to you, Alonzo. Thank you very much. And where can people find you? Where can people find you on the interwebs?
You can find me on my socials at the AlonzoK on Twitter. You can find me on Twitch as well too at www.twitch.tv/the AlonzoK. And that's pretty much the only places you can find me. I don't put my socials out there. I'm not a social media guy. I've just started to use Twitter just because. I don't. If you ever follow me on Twitter and follow me on Twitch.
Do you plan on streaming?
Asking to join me now here. I do stream, like, let's touch this. I used to stream. I used to video game stream. I forgot to bring this up, but I do push my Twitch streams out there. I use VRCDM, but I also restream it through Twitch. I don't ever have my Twitch open if I'm DJing. I just do it to put music out there, just to have it on the platform, just in case anybody that can't make it to a live set can have it in the background, kind of thing. That's the only reason why you use Twitch. I don't ever want to become affiliate. I don't ever want to become partner. I don't care about that. That's past my point. I did it on Mixer before Mixer died, and that was that was a hard enough thing to do and deal with. So
yeah.
But yes, that's the only places you can find me, or just find me at VRC. Squiggly line, Alonzo, squiggly line. That's me on VRC.
All right, nice. All right, and for those of you who would like to keep in touch with me. You can find me on Twitter at Nepherti with 2 I's. You can find me on Twitch, Nepherti, twitch.tv/Nepherti, also with 2 I's. I also have another Twitch, not Twitch. I don't have another Twitch. Another Twitter is what I meant. Another Twitter. Where you can get podcast updates. It's Sweet Awking Pod. There's only 1 T, not 2 T's, 1 T. But Sweet Awking Pod. You can follow that for more updates about who's going to be the next guest and everything. And obviously on YouTube, you can find me, just search Nepherti on YouTube. And that's where this is going to be. This is where you will likely be watching this if you're not watching it live. And definitely you can check me out there. Please do support. And of course, if you are enjoying the stuff that I do, if you're enjoying the content that I'm making,
slap that like.
It is slap that like button, please. I would really appreciate that. Please subscribe. And again, if you really like what I do, you can always check out my Patreon. It's patreon.com/Nepherti with 1 I. And that is a way that you can really directly support me. And I think the rewards are pretty sweet. You can check out the video that I made. It's like a minute and it's like a 2-minute video. It's very, very quick. If you're interested in learning more about that. And I would just love to have you watch, like the video if you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment if you found something that is legitimately useful. If something vibed with you, that you connected in some shape or form. I would love to hear about that in the comments. Please don't be afraid to do that. I think Alonzo would be pretty happy to hear from you, as well as all of my other guests, which you can also check out. There is a playlist that you can look into with all the past episodes of the Sweet Talking podcast, which you can watch all there if you're interested in that. But I wanna thank you, Alonzo, once again for being my esteemed guest. It's definitely awesome to learn more about like what you do, like just the music that you create, your knowledge, your crazy amount of knowledge and experience in the DJ scene, and just learning more about you and where you've traveled, the languages that you know. The countries that you visited, and just the experiences that you've had. Like you're such a well-rounded individual, and I'm hopeful that somebody will treat you right. They will appreciate the subby that you are, and they will definitely take care of you. They will take good care of you, Alonzo.
Thank you.
You deserve it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. There you go. Head pats. All right. So, I think that's all we got for you this evening. I appreciate you all whenever you're watching this. Really, thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a pleasure. And again, please do continue to support the Sweet Talking podcast. It really means a lot to me. And please do check out the Patreon. Check out the rewards that are there. I think you may find them pretty suitable for all the stuff that I'm doing and for free, as I do this because I enjoy it. Just like Alonzo is a DJ because he just really loves music, and that's why I do this. So thank you so much for your support. I hope to see you again, and until next time, please take care. Bye-bye. You can say bye too, silly. You don't have to just sit there all stoically. Bye.
The battery thing that we talked about.
Oh,
I'm just
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
change
yeah.
it really quick so that I don't lose me mid thing. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay.